What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Chase, aka CR Media, here live with my friend Anthony Blackwell Jr. Everybody loves ABJ.
Goddamn right they do.
How are you tonight, sir?
Dude, I'm great. I've been sitting at this chair probably for the past 13 hours today. So it's been a day. Yeah.
What have you been doing sitting at that chair for 13 hours?
Let's just say I've been working on helping some wrestling companies. I can't really get into full details. Maybe some upcoming interviews of the ABJ podcast will reveal more. Um, Maybe I can also tell you should go over to YouTube and subscribe to Smash Master Wrestling as well as the High Tension Wrestling Network, which also just hit 300 subscribers today. That's very exciting. Also, I was working on some stuff for the ABJ podcast. So I've been posting I got to post one in about an hour here. I've been posting 3 clips a day of all the stuff that's been going on for the show, like all the clips of the podcast. And I'm sitting on like a shit ton. Wow. Look at that. That's a post. Somebody in the chat, I guess, on one of our Facebooks just went hard in the paint. But yeah, so I made a bunch of clips up until about a certain episode, and then I let it pile up, so I have to go back and clip a whole bunch of stuff. But I just made a new way to make my clips look different. So clips coming up maybe next month will be a very different look for the podcast. The clips are going to be a little more eye catching.
Nice, nice. I
Yeah,
like it.
trying things out, brothers. Trying things out. I'm trying to hit those new strides in life. You know.
Yeah. That's different, man. Look at that. That's weird. I can block the user on Facebook. I don't know if I want to block him, but
Just hide the comment, I would say.
yeah, there you go. All right. Anyways, had a quite the busy past couple weeks. We've had the Royal Rumble come through. We've had a bunch of different stuff like that. I had the Chiefs game last weekend, so instead of starting later, instead of starting later or starting without me, we elected to reschedule for this week. And then now this week we're missing our good friend Mark.
Yeah, he died. No, he didn't die.
No, he didn't die, but I bet he feels like it. He's been remodeling that house and working on that house, so I'm sure he's super busy. So we are going to miss Mark tonight. Now,
R.I.P. Mark.
R.I.P. Mark. So let me ask you: do you remember what his Royal Rumble idea was?
Yes.
Okay.
Whoever got the picks correct gets to draft first this week.
Okay. I
I
did
can tell
not
you who
have
won.
30. I did not have 30.
I won the men's and the women's.
You did? Okay.
I picked
That's awesome.
one and I picked 30.
That's badass. That is badass.
I will be drafting first tonight.
I
actually didn't look at the show notes, so I don't even know what we're drafting yet.
I thought we were drafting. I thought we were supposed to draft like best Royal Rumble winners, weren't we?
Shit. Yeah.
Wasn't that what we were supposed to do? And then Mark was like, "Hey, let's
yeah.
change it. Let's do the." Okay. Okay.
I'll wing it.
Yeah.
I'll wing it.
I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for it because, like I said, when I started doing the rundown,
we're going just off brains.
Going in blind turkey.
Yeah.
Well, we're not gonna get to the draft just yet, guys. I want to take this opportunity to let everybody know that we are live on Anthony Blackwell Jr.'s Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube, and my Twitch and YouTube as well. My Facebook took a giant shit, so I don't know what happened, but oh well. Real quick, I want to highlight this. Matthew says it's tomorrow's 2 years since he went to the strip club. Could you imagine taking Matthew to the strip club?
I bet it's magical.
I know.
I love strip clubs. I'm just always poor, so I can never have fun.
Could you imagine? Matthew in there with his sunglasses?
Love his laugh.
No, it's so contagious. But yeah, no, we are live on all those social medias, guys. I'm not exactly sure where ABJ sits on the scale. I do appreciate you guys helping me inch a little closer to 100 subscribers on YouTube.
I just hit 522, so I'm less than 80 away from 600 for the month, and we're only 5 days in.
I like it. I like it. So
The 600 is cool, right? But 585 or 582, whatever Interviews with Everyday People's channel is the highest I've ever grown a YouTube channel, and it took me 4 years to hit 585 subscribers. So the fact that I can hit that in October. So the channel says it's been around since 2008, but I never uploaded it until October of this year.
yeah.
So October, November, December, January, February, like 5 or 6 months of just doing this is crazy to me. We just hit 300. We're closing in on 350 plays on the audio side of the podcast. So people listening to on Spotify, people listening on Apple and all that stuff, that's helping. Facebook, tons of reviews coming in. I think I have 11 5-star reviews on Facebook. And the cool thing with Facebook is I'm now being paid for monetization on Facebook. I have till the 14th of bonus money that I can attribute. You can make up to $30,000 on Facebook. All you have to do is if people like, comment, engage, or subscribe to your channel on Facebook. So if you see something posted on one of my stuff and you like, comment, share, comment twice, whatever it may be, that adds to the tally of possible money I'm making by Facebook. I started in December. I made $40. January I made $50, and now going into this month, I'm closing in on 70.
Nice.
Yeah,
There you
which
go.
is nuts. So that's what I'm telling you guys. It could be any channel, man. Anybody you support, not just me, not just Chase, but anybody, man. When you're scrolling through social media, take a second, just hit a button. You have no idea how much that can help. It helps so much.
Absolutely. So, guys, like I said, I am at 62. I want to try and close that gap and get to 100. It says I'm at 61 now, man. Must have pissed
Someone
somebody
just
off.
unsubscribed.
Yeah, must have pissed somebody off. That's all right.
I had a moment where I lost 90 subscribers in a week, and I don't think I ever got a lot of them back. But that's fine because we made them back in a different way.
Yep, that's right. So guys, like I said, go follow on all social medias, both ABJ and I. If you guys like professional wrestling, you guys.
Steven Chambers is pointing to the sign and says Blackwell will hit 600 by Mania weekend. He's doing the whole. He's calling his shot.
Yeah, I think. How much are you at?
522.
522. I think you'll hit 600 before Mania weekend.
We'll see.
Yeah. But like I said, guys, make sure you follow on all social medias. If you guys like wrestling content, you guys are gonna love ABJ and myself. And then ABJ also has more than wrestling content. He's got horror content. He's got beers content. He's got
that's all coming soon. Yeah. I am hoping to hit. So the other content is banking on two things. One, free time so I can go to these bars and breweries and record it. Two, it's banking on I'm waiting for intro music for the pop culture and horror. But once I get intro music for those two channels, that's going to start flying in. And I will tell you, the horror movie and the pop culture reviews will not have a set day, oh, you should look forward to it on this day. They're just going to pop up, and they're probably going to be later on at night, where it might just be 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and me and Billy are talking about a music album or a movie we watched or something like that.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be me and Billy, but the door's open to anyone to come jump in and talk.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of cool stuff coming.
Absolutely. So because I wasn't here last weekend for the Royal Rumble, let's talk about the Royal Rumble, buddy.
I thought both Rumbles were fun. I thought they were fine. I think a lot of people get caught up in we didn't get enough surprises on Rumble to get excited about, but also besides Booker T, they utilized their roster, so that's a good thing, right? They didn't. Sure, some people didn't get utilized, but I feel like they didn't really not. They didn't just bring people in to bring them in and let people sit in the back who've been there the whole time for the most part, except Booker T, who's technically been working the entire time because he's doing commentary, at NXT, pretty much everybody who entered the Rumble have been people who are invested in the company to some degree and have been working.
Yeah, Booker's not only been working for the company in commentary, he's also been working his independent promotion that he runs
Yeah.
down in Houston, and is doing good work down there with that. A lot better work with that than what he does on commentary for NXT. But
Booker, I'm
yeah,
sure you're a nice guy. I'm just not a fan of commentary.
yep, absolutely. Uh, and and that was the other thing too, is like I've seen a lot of people complain about, oh well, we all knew Cody was going to win and it wasn't a surprise, and there was no surprises. I think people had their expectations all the way up here because it was Hunter, and because Hunter brought a bunch of people back. Everybody was like, oh, Hunter's gonna have like probably five to 10 surprises in this Royal Rumble, man. This is gonna be crazy. And it wasn't that. You're right. They utilized the talent that they had. The only complaint I would make is that there was a lot of tag teams that were brought in. And when you do that, like nothing in my mind says, "Oh, I believe that guy can win," because they're still at the peak of the tag team. Like
Yeah, I
that
would have
tag team has to
left. I
split
would have
up for
left.
something like that off.
Sucks to say, I would have left New Day out. I would have left New Day out. I would have left Street Profits out. If Cody, if Kofi, if you're not bringing Big E in, you don't need the New Day in the Rumble right this year. I think Dolph Ziggler should have got an opportunity because he has a streak go. You know what I mean? Like I get those streaks and stuff, but like I don't know. I did, even though like I'm saying that, but I don't hate the fact that they were there. Like nothing bothered me really in there. The only thing maybe is Cody at 30 is a little too on the nose, but then he also came in and did like a 20-minute match with Gunther one on one. Like they legit put a match on. You know what I mean? Like I think both the bet. I'll just stick with the men's rumble now. But I think the men's rumble set up a lot of good storylines. I think they continued storylines. I think they possibly set up new storylines. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. There was aspects about the event that I was just kind of like, but the two Rumble matches in the main event I really really enjoyed, and I thought were done very well. Um, Bianca and Bliss, I thought was,
Yikes!
yeah, it was very. I mean, like there was no reason for me to go, wow, like I was really interested in this.
Yeah, it
Um,
was a dud. It was a
yep.
dud. It was totally a
Uh,
dud.
but but then the main event, I thought, obviously we all thought with the main event being Roman and Kevin Owens, that we were going to get some huge surprise. Now granted we did, but we saw this huge surprise coming in some way, shape, or form.
Honestly, I think the biggest surprise is Jay.
Yeah,
Jay threw the biggest monkey dick in this whole story.
absolutely.
Everyone was expecting Sammy to eventually do what he did. I literally said months ago, I said the way this is going to end is Sammy's going to be watching Kevin take a massive beatdown, and he's not going to be able to handle it because the entire sure he'll fight him, he'll wrestle him, but every time it starts getting a little too far, he does have flashbacks of that's my best friend. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
that's my
Look
and
at
it got to the point where it got too uncomfortable for him, and he had to do something.
Yeah, look at how they did it in WWE. Kevin Owens is fighting Shane McMahon in a Hell in a Cell match, and then Sami Zayn says, "No, that's my best friend. Like you're, like I'm gonna go out there and save him." And you're right. Every history we've seen of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, they beat the shit out of each other inside the ring, inside the bell. Kevin's gone off the deep end a little bit and done a little extracurricular activities, but at the end of the day, it was Sammy who welcomed him back with open arms here.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you knew that the issue was going to be that Sammy was eventually going to get upset or get frustrated with the way the way that the bloodline was used or treating Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
But I thought honestly it was going to be Kevin Owens who came in and did those things.
No,
So
I knew that this was going to implode on Sammy. with a Kevin Owens beatdown. That's been my call for a while. And as
Yep.
soon as Sammy came out at that pay-per-view, we're watching it at the bar, and I said it in the bar, and then I looked at our Discord chat, and um, Mark said the same thing in our chat, and I was like, dude, I was gonna type. I just said the same thing. Sammy's shirt was pre-cut. It was slit right here.
Yep.
And as soon as I see that, I said, he's out of the bloodline tonight. And they're like, how do you know? I go, look at his shirt. And then Brian, who's the wrestling savant, goes, oh, his shirt's pre-cut. That's getting ripped off him tonight. And sure enough, that's what happened. Just going back real quick, backtracking. Dude, Bianca and Alexa, that was such a dud match that, like, does it make you want to say, like, hey, I think we're ready for a new champion in the women's division. You know what I mean? Like, whoever goes into Mania against Bianca Belair, like, I wouldn't hate if they take the title off her. Like, I think it's to the point where when you have a match that's that bad of a storytelling, and you build all that up for that's the match we get, and it's kind of like, yikes. Like, I don't know. Like, I think maybe it's time for a new guard. You know what I mean? And I love Bianca, but that was rough. And then the LA Knight Bray Wyatt competitive laser tag match, that was rough too, man. I mean, visually, I get it looked cool, right? Like, that was the neon, the Orbeez, the face paint thing, visually looked cool. But once again, we got nothing in Storm in terms of storytelling or where this character's going, and it's just once again, it's more questions, no answers, and I feel like most people, like, I'm looking online now, and I think more people are on the anti-Bray train, and they're acting like it's like they're new to the train. I'm like, bro, I've been driving that bus before he put ink to paper. Like, I've been saying since the rumors of him getting signed, I was like, dude, he doesn't have an end game to his stories. He just keeps going. What makes fans so excited is they fantasy book in their head what everything means, and then he just keeps the train rolling. He never answers any questions. And then that match left no questions answered. Like, how Howdy attacked Bray and then attacked LA Knight for Bray that night. Like, there's no continuity to any of this.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the Uncle Howdy thing is. Because okay, so let's say that Uncle Howdy is somebody. So, okay, Uncle Howdy's Bo Dallas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is Bo Dallas controlling Bray? Yeah.
Why
Here's
would Bo Dallas attack Bray then just to attack LA Knight at the pay-per-view?
Yeah. I so I'm right there with you, Kai. Kai says I don't mind Bray, but I don't hate him.
I don't hate him either. None of the storyline does anything for me.
Yeah. Well, I think I could argue that you're not very fond of Bray Wyatt, of the Bray Wyatt character. I'm sure you.
I didn't mind the Wyatt family when they were like a cult Manson family, and they didn't have spooky powers.
So he just did an interview a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week, with Ryan Satin from Fox, and he told Ryan, he said, "I don't want to wear the Fiend mask. I'll never wear it again. It's after what they asked me to do, and after what I did with that character, and how it ended. I don't want to wear it." And then he said, "And then Bayou Bray, I can never be him again because it reminds me of my best friend too much." Talking about Harper.
Yeah.
And so he's like, so that's why I want to do something new. And it sounds great in theory, but God, dude, it looks like this WrestleMania thing is going to lead to him versus Alexis. And in one breath you say, I'm not happy with the way that ended, and I don't want to put on the Fiend mask ever again because of how it ended.
But you're tying her back into it.
But we're tying her back into it. And brother, this is what it looks like. It looks like we're headed into a head-on collision between Alexa and Bray. And it's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
you're not happy with the way the Fiend ended because obviously the Fiend was an absolute dog shit idea that you took and turned it out pretty well, regardless of the booking.
But essentially, with the Fiend, he's doing the same mistakes he did with the Fiend that he's doing now with this new character. Except people didn't buy into it with the Fiend, because he wrestled more. With
Yeah.
this new character, he's not actually doing work. He's just banking all on story. But the Fiend never really answered any questions either. It
Yeah.
was all speculation the whole time. And I think that whole gap of the Fiend and then no payoff because I think the writers were like, bro, like it honestly seemed like the writers and the talent essentially went to Vince and were like, dude, we can't work with this guy. You put us in these storylines with these guy and this guy, and he doesn't even know the ending to it. Like Seth Rollins was pissed about his ending with him. Like every single person who worked with him, by the end of it, was like, I don't want to do this anymore because
That's
there's no
not
clear
fair,
ending.
but that's not fair with the Seth thing because obviously that wasn't Bray's booking at Hell in a
But
Cell with the Seth.
Bray has to no sell everything as the Fiend. He
Yeah.
creates the character in that world, and then they let him do everything to build that character, and then it gets to a blow off match, and they're like, bro, like this is why they have to feed him LA Knights, and this is why they have to feed him mid Carter guys, because once he gets in title picture, they're like, bro, we're not letting you kill our main guy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. But I mean it obviously wasn't his idea to end the Hell in a Cell in a no DQ.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough. But I feel like he's walking that same path again with this new character, and
Yeah.
it's not looking good.
No. Um Rhea Ripley goes the distance in the Royal Rumble.
Awesome.
Uh I think when we were watching that, I think I was like, man, like obviously it's not good for her prediction for her to land it. Did she land at 1 or did she land at
One,
2? She
one,
landed at 1. So,
one. Her at one, live at two.
yep.
So her literally probably my favorite female wrestler in the past decade. Uh, is and Shawn Michaels are the first two people in their respective categories to go in at one and win the Rumble.
Yeah. I was very happy when it came down. I didn't I wasn't a huge fan of them introducing Kana in the Rumble. Um I would have liked for her to have been introduced separately, but I did like how, I don't think the elimination made her look weak.
Wait,
I
who?
thought
You said Connor. You mean Chelsea?
no, I'm talking about Asuka.
Kana. Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know her Japanese character name. I just know that she's Alexa Bliss with a new attitude. She's Asuka with a new attitude now. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
they're not calling her by that name. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
But I
which was
think the way they
cool.
eliminated her was good.
It didn't make her look weak. I
Exactly.
hated it. I hated it at the time, but I've watched the Rumble a couple of times now because I had to go back and watch it because I really didn't think it was that bad, but and actually it was Gears who Gears was like, man, I rewatched the Rumble and I really liked it, and I was like, maybe I should rewatch it again. So I
Mhm.
rewatched it, and
In one promo, in one night, and then the next night promo, Asuka has done more for a intriguing, spooky character than Bray has done in 6 months.
yeah. Um, I like I said, I
I just love
enjoyed the
she's
run.
keeping the poison mist. I fucking love poison mist. Love
Yep.
it. Love it.
I love how Liv took the poison mist and it made it look like Liv was gonna win. Liv was like Rhea was holding on and she was dangling her feet, and all Liv had to do
She's
was
so
kick.
tall, man. She almost fucked it up the first year they did it with Bianca when
Yeah,
she almost touched because she's so tall.
yeah. But they did a phenomenal job of I thought Liv sold that very well. I was very impressed with Liv. It's not that I'm not big on Liv, it's just like she just never did it for me.
Her title
Um,
run was not ready for her yet.
yeah. But strides like this and her making improvements like this can get us ready for a live title run
She needs to have a
next year.
storyline without a title right now. She needs to be in a major storyline with a title with someone she can go back and forth on the mic with and work on her mic skills because that was her biggest flaw as a champion. Her in ring, her moves didn't look like they did any damage,
And
and
Ronda Rousey did nothing for her as
yeah,
as an
and
opponent.
her mic work wasn't good, and she went up against Ronda with mic work, and Ronda's isn't that good. And kind of how Alex just said, her title run was roll up pins. And sorry to hate to break it to you, but you know who else had a title run who had a lot of roll up pins or get beat almost like a Darby Allin situation, and I'm gonna get heat for it. Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks, every single match she's in for the most part, it's 80-20. She takes 80 damage, does 20 back, finishes with a backstabber and a submission or a roll-up pin. That's most of Sasha Banks matches. And she's mostly a heel. That's I know, I don't know. But I think
I go back to her feud in I think it was 2016 or 2017 with
NXT with
Charlotte.
Bailey. Oh,
No,
well, the Charlotte
no,
stuff was great. Dude, you can't if you have a bad match with Charlotte, you shouldn't be in
That's
professional
cool.
wrestling.
That's true. That was a bad example.
Yeah.
She ran that program with Charlotte in the fall.
And they traded back and forth the title a lot.
Yeah. And those were good matches. But you're right. You're right.
Chat is popping tonight. We are not ignoring you. We're just kind of keeping the conversation flow. We will get to you, I promise.
I should put it on the screen.
Yeah, probably.
Why haven't I had it? Why haven't I?
Dude, we're only 30 minutes in and we've already hit 100 messages total in the chat. Like, you guys are killing it. Please, thank you guys so much.
Heel Kevin, appreciate you joining, sir. I did. I got a new mic.
Did. He joined
the camera. Got a bunch of new stuff. Got a bunch of new equipment. So
listen, when you mess with ABJ, man, you got to step your game up. You know
I know, man. Moving on up. Alex says, "Nah, I agree with most of them. Were her getting squashed and then making a comeback." But yeah, man, I was highly impressed with her at this Royal Rumble. I think that I think that she's showing improvement.
And Rhea took bumps and sells for everybody. Rhea put work in that Rumble. Yeah. The only thing I'll think the only thing that kind of annoyed me a little bit with that night was they did the Beth Phoenix spear spot and then just ended it there. They're just like, nope, we're done. That was the moment. It was done. We're moving on.
I don't know. I think they might revisit it.
Unless they squeeze it in at a Chamber, just a quick 3-week build up. Have it at Elimination Chamber. Finn versus Edge. Beth versus Rhea. Rhea beats her. Is going into Rumble after beating Glamazon, and then now she's going to beat Charlotte for the world title.
Yep. I know. I saw a lot of people, just to kind of stay on the because we talked about the other matches. Well, we talked about every match except for the main event. But I do want to talk about the men's Royal Rumble real quick. Everybody made a lot of fuss about the Rey Mysterio thing. I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. I mean, we all knew Rey wasn't going to win anyways. Mm-hmm. So,
and it made the Dominic thing more interesting because he came out with the mask and then couldn't rip it.
And that was the other thing was like I feel like that was insinuating that Dominic attacked Rey.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, but there's people saying that he didn't. I don't know. It's just
and like confusing. if you didn't come out, how do you lose? Because if you do not hit the curtain and enter the ring before the next person comes out, you have been disqualified from the Rumble.
Yeah. I like I said, I thought the matches both were good. I just think as wrestling fans, and it being Hunter's first Rumble, everybody had their expectations all the way to the ceiling about surprise returns and forbidden doors and all this other stuff. And
I think the only surprise that we didn't get that I was bummed with was maybe Naomi, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I would probably, at this point now, I would save Naomi for after Mania.
Yeah. I agree. If Naomi comes back,
I think she's definitely coming back.
The match we haven't talked about is Roman and Kevin.
Great match, dude. Kevin Owens is money, dude. I don't care. I love Kevin Owens. Everything that people are saying with Sammy and how he deserves it and this and that and this and that. Bro, the same thing can be said for Kevin. Kevin has given Roman every best match Roman has had in this feud has been with Kevin. Like they're good storytellers, man. They pull the best out of each other. And like I don't know, it's a good dynamic. But I really really enjoyed it. I thought the match was good. And of course with the ending, everybody knows it. If you haven't seen it by now, I don't know what you're doing with your life.
Yeah, it's been a whole week.
Yeah.
And you know, like that's what's crazy is, you know, the ending. I think we all talked about it happening. Uh, Do you think? Do you think Sammy was better than The Rock?
No.
I agree. I agree.
This
I'd
head of the
say
table thing has to end with him and The Rock. It has to. It makes no sense if it doesn't end that way.
I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think everybody's a little upset, but old Dave Meltzer wins again. So
I don't think he does. Oh,
I think it.
you mean the same dirt sheet guys that said that NXT guys are going to work indie shows? That lasted 15 minutes.
They are.
They're working one Booker T show and that's it.
Yeah.
They're making people sound like they're going to be all over fucking the world.
I think that if they work Booker T, I think they might be open. What I read is that they might be open to other things, but
I doubt it.
well,
Yeah, I doubt it.
don't say you doubt it until we know for sure.
I doubt it. Um,
Um,
but no, I did say on this show that if Roman does not show up at Rumble, I will end if Rock does not show up at Rumble, I will end my Rock speculation. But I will say the only way that I'm going to keep the Rock hope alive is does the Usos go and get the real tribal chief? Like, is that like they're sick of Roman and they need that person to come and put Roman in his place? And is that person the Rock? Or is the head of the table just they don't acknowledge him anymore and then we're done? Because that would be a disappointment.
I'm not sure, but like I said, I am a little bit a little bit perturbed. I really honestly thought that that The Rock would show up in some way, shape, or form. And maybe it happens. Maybe it happens in Montreal.
Chamber? So here's
Yeah.
the deal. Rock beats Sammy at Chamber. He's not winning the titles before Mania at Chamber. Just not happening. So what better way to leave the Montreal crowd not make them go home a little happy is Sammy's getting beat down. Kevin comes out. Kevin gets beat down. And then all of a sudden, if you smile, like that would, and then you have The Rock out there with Kevin and Sammy raising hands, send the crowd home happy. Because if you just end the show with Roman walking out and raising the titles up after they just beat the Montreal boy and they end the Sami Zayn run right then and there without something to send them home happy, it's going to be rough.
It's Toronto.
Yeah.
It's
a Toronto or Montreal.
It's Montreal. My bad. It's a Canada crowd. So you can't even The Rock's two biggest moments in Canada, he's been booed out of the building. So and that was that. No, Rock wasn't booed in that Philly one.
Yes,
They
he
were
was.
booing. No, they were booing somebody else. They weren't booing The Rock. They were booing somebody. They were booing the fact that Roman won. But I'm talking about the two main times that The Rock has shown up to, in Canada, and that was WrestleMania 18 against Hulk Hogan, and again at No Way Out the following year against Hulk Hogan. He was booed out of the building. And you put Sami Zayn in Canada, in Montreal, and
he's not winning.
Yeah. And so if you don't give the crowd something to be happy about ending the show, it's not going to end well. So
yeah, they have to do something to send the crowd home happy because Sammy's not winning. And here's another thing that's looking really, really interesting is when they announced this tag team tournament for the SmackDown titles, they said, if I'm not mistaken, that it was for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, which kind of
And
indicated.
then the match with the Judgment Day was for the Raw Tag Team Championship.
And now they're saying that Braun and Ricochet are going for the undisputed tag team titles. Because the graphic showed half red title, half blue title. Like they're merging them. And then Roman defended his title not only at Rumble, but also at Elimination Chamber, and he's defending both titles. Does he go into Cody defending both titles? And Cody unifies them, and because he's been hinting heavily that he's bringing back the Winged Eagle, and there's been rumors of new belts, and it might go back to a retro style look for the titles. Do they just have one set of tag team titles?
I don't know, man.
One world champion? Are the networks going to be cool with that? Is that champion going to travel to both shows?
I would imagine.
I personally don't think your world champion should be showing up every week on TV. That's my opinion. I know that has become like, that's bullshit. The champion should be there every week. I don't think they should. I think your champion should be taken care of. I think they should be a draw.
I don't think that it should be every week, but this only showing up to feud with somebody for the big 4 pay-per-views a month or a year is not something I'm privy to. That I think that's goofy, but that's me. Like I said,
I don't think your world champion should be on every single week though. That's just me.
No. I mean, and even if they do go to one champion, there's, like I said, there's no reason for the champion to show up every week. Mm-hmm. But like I said, to have them only come around to get the Brock Lesnar treatment and only come around for the Magical 4, or
now here's where the problem lies. You've built Sami Zayn up. You've created a monster.
Yep.
You're essentially rehashing Dave Bautista, Daniel Bryan.
Yep.
In 2023.
And you know what?
You have literally made a Daniel Bryan movement with Sami Zayn, and you're not going to give the payoff, and people are going to turn on Cody. Cody better be prepared to maybe do a curveball here and be like, maybe I go heel here.
I wouldn't say he needs to go heel. I would say he needs to he would lose, and he would get that title at a later time.
Oh, here's where I think is going to happen with Sami. Sami does have to do a little bit of a character tweak, and he's starting to do it now. Yep. He went from the goofball, and now he's jumping Roman. He's attacking Roman. He's going to put matches on where he's going to be the old Sami Zayn, where he rises up and comes back from behind and shows his heart and shows determination and shows every reason why people love Sami Zayn in NXT. He has to go back to that character, because the goofball Sami Zayn is not going to world championship top caliber. But I do think that Sami Zayn, at some point in time in the future of WWE, has earned himself an opportunity to win the world title. But I don't think it's this year at Rumble at Mania.
Yeah, no, I agree. But are we gonna do this? Are we gonna do this draft?
Let's do it.
All right. So that's gonna take care of our. Well, let's do this. What would you grade Royal Rumble this year?
I'd give it a 7.
Okay. I think that's really fair. I think
the 2 matches in the middle really brought the showdown for me. I thought the music performance really brought the showdown for me, but not low enough to a 5 or a 6, because I thought both Rumbles were entertaining, and I thought the end of the show was spectacular.
Yep. I do. The only thing I would complain about the end of the show was I feel like it went on a little bit too long.
They played exactly what the crowd needed. As soon as they start hearing "fuck you, Roman" chants, Roman was like, "That's what I wanted. That's the reaction I've been trying to get this whole time, and I finally got it." They want to make Roman nuclear by the time he goes to Mania, because they're hoping that the nuclear-hated Roman is going to get the big pop for Cody Rhodes when he wins the title. The problem is they want that pop to be Sami, and they're not going to get it.
Yep. No,
listen, Mick. I know you listen to a lot of tantalizing Tony, but I'm telling you, Sami Zayn is not winning that world title.
Yeah. Well, that, and
not this year.
Yeah.
And that's not me hating Sammy. Listen. I would have put the world title on Sammy 4 years ago. I would have put it on 3 years ago. I love Sami Zayn, but you don't put this much money and time and effort into Cody Rhodes to make him a mid-carder right now.
Agreed. So guys, that'll break down our that will end our breakdown of Royal Rumble. Now time for everybody's favorite part of the show, the weekly draft, the fantasy draft. The idea that our confidant, our co-host, our friend, Mark, Pro Wrestling Kingpin, came up with, and he's not even here in the show tonight to enjoy the fruits of his labor, if you will. So, all right. So last time we were live, guys, was a couple weeks ago, and we did a draft of Royal Rumble entrants, like numbers, and whoever won, that would decide the draft order this week. Well, ABJ was fortunate enough to hit both numbers that they won. So while I was looking for, all the hot numbers like 25, 27, which is the number that has produced the most winners and all this other stuff, ABJ chooses 1 and 30 and hits on both. So, so I will be drafting first. And ABJ will be drafting second.
No, I draft first. I got it right.
The loser drafts first. But no, that's fine. If you want to draft first, I don't care.
I got it correct. I draft first.
Okay. I mean, that's not how we do it, but I mean, that's okay.
What do you mean? How do you pick the correct number and then lose?
You don't lose. You don't have to be the number one pick.
I want to be the number one pick. I'm receiving the ball in overtime.
So ABJ will pick first. I will pick last. And
which is second.
Yeah, exactly.
Are all 5 of our picks going to be men and women? Or are we going to do 5 men and 5 women?
Damn, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think we have enough, because 5 rounds. I mean, can you do 5 rounds of women Rumble winners? I think they've only had 4.
You're right.
Oh, ABJ won. That means I get to choose the next draft for the next week's show. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he's saying.
So
here's what we'll do. I'll draft first tonight, and then I'll pick next week's, because I got both of them right. So I'll draft first tonight, and then I'll pick next week's topic when we're done drafting.
I like that. That gives you
real quick. Mix in the chat. It's going to happen, Anthony. I bet your money on it. It's in Montreal, and it's going to be. Guess where Clash at Castle was? And they buried Drew. They don't give a shit about hometown crowds. They want Roman to be the guy.
Yeah. I agree. All right. So give me 1 second. I'm going to let this dog out real quick, and then we're going to start this draft.
All right. Oh, boy. That was kind of gross. Dead air, so I should probably talk. So that's okay. Yeah, we talked about Mark. Said he's not here because he's been tired and he's working on stuff around the house. But we miss you, brother. We'll see you next week. I like how he turned his mic off, but he turned his camera off, but not his mic, so we hear him hacking in the background.
Yeah, I know. All right. You guys ready?
Yep. Let's do 5 rounds, and we'll do men and women in one thing.
Okay.
Let's just do that.
Whatever works for me, sir.
And they don't have to be winners. We'll just do the best Royal Rumble competitors. Is that good, or you want winners?
I want winners.
All right, winners. Then okay, never mind.
Yeah. Fuck her.
All right. First pick. There's no way I'm not going this route. I'm going number 1 pick, Shawn Michaels.
You son of a bitch.
Shawn Michaels is number 1.
All right.
Not the most wins as a Royal Rumble contestant, but he has 2.
That's right. All right. ABJ went HBK, Shawn Michaels. That's all right. I am going to go with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Great pick. That's probably the best one you can go with next. I'm trying to think here. If you're going by best Royal Rumble winners in history, you probably got to go with what people arguably say is the best Royal Rumble of all time, and that's going to be Ric Flair.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going Flair.
All right. So while Shawn was my obvious choice, I probably wouldn't have taken Stone Cold. I would have gone with Shawn. My next best one, and this one had a lot of emotional with me. And that was in 2001. There was a tag team match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H versus Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit. And Triple H tore his quadricep muscle and was out, missed the whole invasion, finally came back on January 7th, 2002 to declare he was entering in the Royal Rumble. He won, went on to WrestleMania 18 to face the undisputed champion Chris Jericho and beat him. One of my most memorable Rumbles. Give me Triple H.
Okay, so yours is more or less a storyline building up to it is what made it good for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay. Let me look here. I'm looking through a list because, like I said, we're kind of winging it. I wish there was a better payoff for that win, but it's really not that great. Let's go with the first ever winner of the Women's Rumble, and let's go Asuka for my third round pick.
I like that. I'm gonna feel really bad because I didn't have any. I don't think I have any women on my list right now. But I like the emotional stuff in the stories, so why not? Give me 2006 Rey Mysterio after Eddie Guerrero died. He entered in the Royal Rumble at number 2, I believe, and went the distance and won. And then went on to face Triple H or Randy Orton and Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 22 that year and won the title.
I like it. I don't hate it at all. I'm gonna stick with the women. I'm gonna go this year's pick. I'm gonna go Rhea Ripley coming in at 1 after
you son of a bitch.
after she loses 2 years ago to Bianca, coming in the second runner up. So I'm gonna go Rhea Ripley as my 4th round pick.
4th round. I've only got 2 left. God, man. Why didn't we do years? I would have been happy with years.
I'm gonna have a lot of more modern day rumbles. I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's all right. That's all right. I could choose. I could choose Brock Lesnar, but I'm not going to do that.
I mean, if you want to go with storytelling and you can go with Brock, but go at the guy who actually won it that year.
Who
It's
won
a big
it
moment, huh?
Who won it that year?
Drew. Drew's the one who came in and knocked him out.
Oh yeah. That's right. That's right.
That was a good Rumble. That was a really good Rumble. That was Return to Edge.
Return to Edge. That was a good Rumble. But I am gonna go with the 2019 Royal Rumble winner. The beginning snowball of the man Becky Lynch.
Yeah, that Rumble was a good Rumble. Both of them were really good. but boy, were they predictable with those two winners. Everybody and their brother knew Seth and Becky were going in and walking out as champions.
Absolutely.
18 was good too with Nakamura and Asuka, two Japanese wrestlers coming in the Rumble and winning it, which was really special.
Asuka was the first women's Royal Rumble winner.
Yeah, and the fact that two Japanese people won that year, special moment in the Rumble. But listen, 2020 Rumble was super special because, like I said, Drew McIntyre won it, and that was when Brock came in and decimated half the Rumble, dominated, and then Drew's the guy that knocks him out, gets his title run. Edge showed up that year, had a great run, but I'm gonna go with. I'm a sucker. It's hard. I cannot pick someone who walked in at 30, won the Rumble, and be like, man, that's my favorite Rumble moment. I'm a sucker for the one pick, man. And Edge coming in the next year at number 1 and going the distance and winning in 2021 is my 5th round pick.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, so you got Edge. Shit.
Yeah, Christian and Seth that year too. Good call, Alex.
Oh. I like that. I know exactly which one I'm going with.
Flair was my second round pick.
Yep. Who was your 4th round pick again, guy?
I went Shawn, Flair, Asuka, Rhea, and then ended it with Edge.
That's right. I didn't have your Rhea pick down. Okay. So there was this TikTok trend asking, who was the Royal Rumble winner the year you were born? Mine was Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Am I going to go with Hacksaw Jim Duggan as my 5th pick? No, I'm not. Instead, I am going with the guy who entered in the Royal Rumble, number 2.
So, fun fact, Jim Duggan, wait, how does it work? There was a Rumble that happened before the Rumble, right? There's always credit for 2 first-time winners. There was the first time it was televised, and there was a first time it was not televised.
The first time it was not televised, I think, was the one that Hacksaw Jim Duggan won.
Duggan was Rumble 88.
Yep.
That was not televised?
Big John, yeah, I don't think it was. And then Big John Studd was 1989. While he's looking that up, that's who you should ask. You should ask Steven Chambers. He's old enough to remember.
I got it wrong during a trivia night. I said, the real first Royal Rumble was October 4th, 1987, and the first winner was One Man Gang.
Oh, there you go.
But I don't think it was a full 30-man Rumble. And then
no, the first 30-man Rumble was in 89. The one that Hacksaw Jim Duggan won was not. It was the Islanders versus the Young Stallions in a 2 out of 3 falls match. What?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know either. Anyways, my Royal Rumble winner came in at number 2, won the whole thing, and didn't get to main event WrestleMania because he lost his WrestleMania opportunity. My 5th round pick is Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
I hated that Rumble. I hated that Rumble.
That was a good Rumble.
When he fucking came in and then went inside a commentary.
Yeah.
Yuck.
The I Quit match?
No, the Rumble.
Oh, I know. I thought you were talking about the event overall. All right. So Alex, we are picking 5 guys each, and we are done. So, again, to recap, ABJ has Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Asuka, Rhea Ripley, and Edge. Very solid draft. And then I had Stone Cold, Triple H, Rey Mysterio, Becky Lynch, and Vince McMahon.
So I'm going to be honest, man. I think you lose it because of that Vince pick.
I win because of that Vince pick.
I think the Vince pick diminishes your draft.
I don't care. So, suck it, bitches. So that's gonna do it for the draft this week. Mick had a if Taker.
He has one Rumble win.
Yeah, he has one more Rumble win, man, and I don't know. I say Chase wins because he picks Vince. He's only saying that because he's not on the show competing against us. Yeah. If he was here tonight, he'd be like, oh, Chase lost. I won because I picked Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho never won, but I picked him. So guys, appreciate everybody participating in the game tonight. These are always fun. Always have a blast doing these. To get back to other news in professional wrestling. Never mind, I changed my pick because Chase is a dick. Sammy versus Roman was announced for the Elimination Chamber. I know we kind of talked about that when we talked about the Royal Rumble.
I said it on Raw. I said I think this like the Raw after Rumble. I said I think that's the way they're going to go. I think they're going to be a one-on-one match at Chamber.
Yeah.
By Contagious John, gotcha.
I know. Does WWE pull an audible?
No.
None whatsoever.
None. What do you think we get? Sammy versus Cody at Rumble at Mania?
Night 2, maybe? Or night 1, get him versus Roman for the title again?
So a 2-year long Roman Reigns dominant championship run is ended by Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber, the pay-per-view before WrestleMania.
No, I think they call the audible after Elimination Chamber.
So he gets another opportunity to wrestle at.
We've seen weirder stuff. They did the exact same thing with Kofi. The exact same thing with Kofi. Shit, I don't know if you remember it. I don't know if you were watching wrestling at the time, but go back and watch that.
Cody went to that whole gauntlet thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they changed Kofi. They put Kofi in the main event. Now, granted, there was 2 championships, but they put Kofi in the main event literally 3 weeks before Mania. Like it was kind of crazy. Now, granted, different time and different regime and stuff like that, but I mean, crazier stuff has happened. I could see them twisting it to where they go, all right, we'll get everybody to shut up. We'll have Roman versus Sammy again. Night 1, Roman beats him, and then night 2 he can face Cody.
I just can't see a world where you start a storyline that long and the payoff is not at Mania.
I agree.
It's crazy to me.
I agree. The other thing about that is I've said this many times, if Cody has a one-on-one match with Roman and beats Roman straight up,
well, he would beat the reason he beats Roman though this year is because Roman's going to have to go into a match with 0 bloodline. That's the storytelling there. Is Roman did it because Roman has been winning a lot, but a lot of his wins have been at the sake of him having help from the bloodline. So he's going into Rumble, or he's going into Mania with no team. Honestly, I can see somehow the Usos are involved in something the night of Mania, so they're not involved. And maybe Solo Sikoa versus Kevin Owens at Mania. Yeah. And Roman has nobody. And Roman has to fight Cody Rhodes one-on-one. And he can't get it done without help.
Yeah. I mean, he's won a few. He won that match against Finn
I could even
Balor.
see Sammy coming out at Mania and preventing Paul Heyman from helping him.
Yeah, I could see it. That's my only complaint is like if you let Cody beat Roman straight up after everybody else that Roman has beat, even guys that Roman has beat straight up with no help. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that kind of unless you tell me that wrestling fans have such short-term memory that they don't buy into it. But you like I said, you've got a guy who's had the title for 2.5 years and who squashed everybody with and without help.
Yeah, I just think, and I just knowing how wrestling fans are fickle, they will not uh last long doing a long-term story Sami Zayn champion run. And if he only has it for a couple months, they'll hate it, but then they'll hate the fact that they'll look back in hindsight and be like, man, we should have went with Cody.
Yeah.
Sometimes your heart's not the right choice.
No, I agree. That's my
Real
whole
quick,
thing with
I'm sorry I'm doing this real quick, but Mick,
this is
I'll tell you
adorable.
this, buddy. I'll tell you this, bud.
This is so
We're
adorable. Hey, real quick, do this while I go let the dog in.
Go ahead, Mick. We're buddies, all right. But when it comes to friends on social media and stuff, I'm not doing that again. Um, I love ABJ and ABJ is my buddy is because ABJ put up barriers. Okay, and those barriers are still going to remain there. But I unblocked you. I'm going to let you participate in the stream. I'm going to let you chat. But we're going to keep things professional. If you follow me on social media, that's fine. But I don't need 14 messages on all my posts telling me, that I'm mean. Because I wasn't mean. I wasn't the one who said the bad things first. So we'll let that go there. Alex, let's read his book here. I feel like what they can do is that Roman says that Sammy isn't worthy for holding both, so he'll only let him fight for one. See, I think the whole two title things is not a thing anymore. I think they're going to convert them to one title. That's what it looks like. Um, yeah, he's essentially saying Roman says you can only challenge for one title. I think that whole idea is gone. I think splitting up the titles is gone, dead and gone.
Yeah, I don't know, but you know, I will say this because I saw somebody bring up Jay. Jay, obviously, to get the Usos versus Sammy and Kevin, Jay has to turn back on Kevin, or I mean, Jay has to turn his back on Sammy,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not going to get that at Elimination Chamber because somebody can't travel to Canada.
Both of them can, I don't think.
Whatever, but so like I said, I just think that we eventually are going to get Jay aligning himself back up with the bloodline. So
Yeah. Listen, here's the deal. We're every single week we all sit here and every pay-per-view we all speculate and we do our fantasy bookings. But every single pay-per-view and every week they throw another curveball at us that we didn't see coming.
you're right. And it's been good.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a head scratcher.
Where does this rank? Where does this rank as all-time storytelling in professional wrestling?
Oh, it definitely ranks up there. I mean, like I have my little tidbits and stuff, like because everybody talks about how great it is and all this other stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, like I like it, like it's good, but I'm not gonna put it up there with the greatest of all time. Like number one, it's gone on too long. In the modern era, when there's 2 TV shows on a month and there's 1 pay-per-view a month, sometimes
Is it
2
top
fucking
5?
Top 5. I'll give it top 5. I'll give it top 5.
I'm gonna be honest, man. Like I'm racking my brain. There's a lot of really good old school storylines because that's what they really focused on back then. But it's really high up there.
No, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I would say top 5, and if I thought about it, maybe I'd knock it out of the top 5. But there's like I said, there's things I can nitpick about it. It's gone on too long in the modern era. It's you've made Roman unbeatable,
Well, they yes and
even
no. Yeah.
without help. Yes, you have.
Yeah.
Um,
He's not
you've
going out there solo Lesnar style and just smashing people.
no, he was not anymore.
Mhm.
Um, and that's something that they've changed, and I like that aspect of it, because it makes you think that, okay, people are trying to figure out more ways to beat him. But Reigns, because he has the help, because he has the bloodline, he's coming out smarter on top of it.
Mhm.
So the other thing I don't like is, I feel like they completely
Steven,
dropped
it's not even a competition.
um I feel like they completely dropped the ball with the Jimmy and Jay thing. Him and Roman and Jay were feuding. Roman used Jimmy as bait to get Jay to acknowledge him as the tribal chief, and to say I quit, or whatever. And then Jimmy was reluctant. Jimmy was like, yo, like, we shouldn't be with him. Like, he's treating us like dirt. And then, like, they just completely walked away. Jimmy just fell in line, like it, and it wasn't even like it was just like they woke up one day and they're cool.
Mhm.
And it is what it is. But, like, to sit here and be like, oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever.
It's really high up there.
Yeah, like I said, it's good. It's really good. But I'll give it top 5 right there at number 5. I'll say
Yeah.
that. Seth turning on the Shield was really good. Um uh I could think of some more. It might be better than Nexus. Yeah. Just kidding. um
My number one of all time is Lawler Andy Kaufman.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Um Darby
Brutal.
Allin losing the TNT championship. Uh our buddy Mark had this on the had this on the docket for the week.
Real quick. So here's everyone says I just looked up best wrestling storylines in professional wrestling history. Brothers of Destruction 97 and 98 they give pretty high up. CM Punk Anti Corporate Rebel 2011. Omega's
That's really
Quest
good.
for Vision with him and Okada, and then notable Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock, AJ Styles versus John Cena, Okada versus Tanahashi, Nakamura becomes the King of Strong Style, Triple H McFoley. Triple H McFoley is really good. Daniel Bryan's Road to WrestleMania, great storyline. Lesnar conquers all. Becky Lynch becomes the man. Flair Steamboat. Batista Undertaker. Gargano Tommaso Ciampa. That's really good. Edge Christian Hardy Boys Dudley Boys. AJ Styles Best in the World. New Japan TNA, and then jump to WWE. I feel like there's some really, really old school ones there. Like the Mega Powers was really good when they exploded. That was a really good
Yep.
story. Sorry, that's time for another topic another day. Darby Allin, yeah.
Triple A, or the evolution implosion. How
Yeah.
we all thought it was going to end with Randy Orton, and then it ended with Batista. I thought that was really great. The thumbs down is still one of my favorite promos of all time. Where Batista's holding the two contracts, and then Hunter and Flair give him the thumbs up, and then Batista gives the thumbs down. Uh, I thought that was always classic to me. Yeah. No, I like I said, I think if I went through them, maybe I would knock this bloodline story out of the top 5, maybe put it 6, but it's not going higher than 5 for me. Yeah. Darby Allin loses the TNT championship.
Yeah.
I thought about skipping over this guy because I know how anxious and excited you are to talk about it.
So it makes it worse away for me. Because you're like, okay, you think about it,
I
you're like,
know.
oh, thank God Darby lost. Wait, who'd he lose it to? Joe. What? Yeah, he lost it to Joe. So Joe beat Hobbs and Wardlow to win a title, to then lose it to Darby in his hometown, to then lose it to win it back off Darby a couple weeks later. And then the number one contender for the title is going to be Wardlow. And you think to yourself, that is a really, really weird way to get from a starting point to an ending point. And it literally seems like the only reason they did it was to satisfy a hometown crowd because he's a pillar of the company. And it's kind of shitty.
Yeah. I
Like
agree.
they did it with Mox and Punk. Like, we're going to drop the title a week before the pay-per-view, 2 weeks before the pay-per-view because we're in Ohio. Even though it wasn't like his hometown, but he was in his home state. We're going to drop it in his home state to then drop it again at the pay-per-view in his hometown.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, like, the whole Sammy's thing. Like, Sammy does not have to win in his hometown. That's not the way things always have to go down. All right.
Yeah.
Really, really weird from Joe to go back to Wardlow again is just a really weird way to get there. And I mean, realistically, Wardlow got choked the fuck out. And I mean, like, he's really upset about that haircut. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, I'm gonna kill him. Cut my hair. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. It was a weird way to get to where we are now, and I just not a fan of it.
I am not.
Steven is correct. That Miro, send Miro out against Joe. Send anybody out. That's got something new. You know what I mean? And I'm sure Powerhouse Hobbs is gonna be like, wait a second, I should be fighting too, because fuck it, why not? You know what I mean? Like, it's just,
that guy lost, and even though I lost, I still should fight for it too.
Yeah,
I agree. Like I said, when I found out that Mark wasn't going to be on the show, I thought about skipping over this, but then I was like, no, I think this will be a great 3-minute filler for me and ABJ to shit on it, because I already took a gigantic shit on it on the AEW Dynamite post show, and felt the need to do it again here. So yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I think it's goofy. I think I'm like, I'm halfway joking and halfway serious. I kind of think that it's just another ploy for Darby to get the title 3 or 4 weeks from now. So
it would not surprise me. And I literally said, like, once again, Darby did a match where he gets killed for the entire thing. And he has to do his weird quirky spots to make him to like that. Like, Darby, that's the only thing Darby banks on, is I have to do something death-defying in my match. He can't bank on his actual wrestling ability.
And isn't that crazy? Like, and I'll say this, and we'll kind of move on from it, because I get it. Like, I understand that, like, he's super popular right now, and I understand, like, all the hype and everything. I get it. I do. But man, like, doesn't that to you, don't you think that hinders when somebody like Darby takes that beating for 30 minutes and then can do a coffin drop and finish somebody in the match? Now, I'm not talking about this match, right? So,
Mick, if that ever happened, I would literally never watch AEW again.
So Darby takes that beating for 20 minutes, does a coffin drop, and then pins somebody. Then this match on Wednesday, Joe has to put him through a table, has to choke him with the jacket covered in thumbtacks, has to remove the ring apron, or has to remove the padding on the ring to expose the hardwood floor.
Darby did that so he can get slammed on it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, Joe's got to do all this extra stuff to finally put 120-pound Darby away. Like, I get it. Like,
he tried to choke him out and got and lost the fight, but he put the same choke in Wardlow, and Wardlow went to sleep.
Yeah. I don't know, like it's odd to me. Um, I've always loved I love the small guy versus the big guy story, but when it's played out every week like that, that's not okay. That's
The only thing I
different,
was
man.
nervous when he was cutting that ring apart, I thought he was gonna cut himself
Yeah.
because he was
I
cutting
know.
towards his body.
Yeah, we were doing the watch along together.
Yeah, I was like, he's
He
gonna
was
cut
just
himself.
he had that Exacto knife and was just like slinging it. And I'm like, brother, I know you ain't ever used an
And
Exacto
Joe
knife.
Joe got cut the hard way.
Yeah, on that table.
Yeah, the table hit him in the face, and
Yeah.
then he beat the fuck out of Darby. Yeah, but
I
yeah,
just for me that's what it is. Like Jungle Boy. I like watching Jungle Boy wrestling and come out with a win. Ju- Jungle Boy's not 120 pounds or
but
180.
Jungle
However.
Boy has psychological stuff in the match to make you want to root for
Yep.
the small guy to beat the big guy because he works the legs, he works his speed, he gets his shots in, he has moments where he's hurting people. He's not going,
Yep.
I need to get thrown through 300 chairs. I have to cut the ring apart. I have to jump off something high, and then I need to get hit with a chair so my match looks cool. Like, name every Darby match. There has to be some type of weapon or weapon spot involved for his match to be elevated. He can't get by on what he's doing with the ring and the crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jungle Boy can go out there and tell a story as the small guy beating the big guy. Jungle Boy can go out and he can't talk on the mic. You know what I mean? Unless he's cursing. But like he can he can work the crowd and tell a story. And that's where I will get behind a Jungle Boy as a small guy all day long.
Yeah. Like let's go back. Let's go back almost 20 years ago when Zach Gallen was in WWE. Zach Gallen was a great story, but Zach Gallen still got his fucking ass beat
Mm-hmm.
because he had one leg. You know, you can only feed us like, and I know like somebody's gonna come after me and be like, oh, you're so hypocritical. You just said about Jungle Boy the other week that like the David versus Goliath story always works really well in wrestling. It does.
If you have a good wrestler doing it.
The David versus Goliath story is great to tell in wrestling, but when you're David and everybody else is Goliath every week, bro, you're not David anymore. You've
Mm-hmm.
now become Goliath. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying about Darby. When Joe has to put you through a table, slam you on a jacket covered in thumbtacks, and then slam you on the hardwood floor that you exposed so you could slam him on the hardwood floor, but he's got to do all three of those things to put you down.
We're talking about the same
You're
guy who decimated the House of Black by himself.
Yeah, you're now Goliath, my guy. You're
Yeah.
not David anymore. You're the Goliath.
Yep.
So I'm good. Like I said, I just wanted to our buddy.
AEW right now is in a weird state, man. And I'm not doing it to hate on AEW, but there's not much storyline wise going on right now that I care about.
No, there's
I
not.
honestly no. There's a lie. There's one storyline that I'm intrigued because it's so different, and it's something I thought they should have did first, but they went with the other direction first. The Ass Boys and Acclaimed. We finally have 2 new tag teams that are going to be kind of fun to watch, and we're going to get some exposure with, and I'm cool with it. Trios
Yeah.
title, we're getting 3 random dudes versus the Elite right now. It's just like that's a weird combo mix. You know what I mean? The world title, it's like cool. It's Brian again, but it's MJS legit like first pay per view title defense. He's not losing it, so I'm not even getting my hopes up for anything there. AEW titles being flip flopped depending on whose hometown you're at. The women's title is literally being challenged for on a promo, and then they have to cut to a television screen of Britt Baker because God forbid Jamie Hayter gets the challenge for a title without Britt Baker being involved. And then not only that, but then let's bring Britt Baker out again a second time in the same night. Love Britt Baker. You know what I mean? Like, she thinks she's insanely talented. I think she's extremely over. But sometimes you got to take a back seat and let your champions be champions because every single time someone's not a champion that's her, she's involved in some form or fashion or has to be standing next to the ring while it's there. And she's not even competing for it. Jade, she just hit 50, so maybe we'll have something there. But even right now, there's no storyline with Jade. There's no reason to care except the streak. Like
Yeah.
storylines right now are just they're at a low for me. But there is positivity. It seems like they are now going backstage and making a clear differential of who's ROH and who's going to be AEW, because tapings for ROH start this at the end of this month for the company. So we're going to get a full-blown ROH company and an ROH somehow televised thing, and that should be something that we're going to start filming very soon.
Yeah. I
think Mercedes has worked something out, but I don't think Japan is going to let Mercedes show up in America before she wrestles for them.
Yeah.
She's not going to come out, wrestle Jade on national TV, win a title in America, and it not be the company she agreed to sign the long term for.
Yeah. They paid her more money than they paid Chris Jericho. I highly doubt they let her come to AEW before she wrestles for them.
I think after she wrestles for them, I can see her taking this Japan women's title and bringing it on TV.
Yep.
On AEW, but I don't think she's going to show up for AEW until she appears for Japan first and wrestles.
I wholeheartedly agree. Like I said, I just wanted to take an opportunity to have a good laugh with you about the Darby Allin TNT thing, because I saw Mark had it down. Let's take a sharp turn here, man. Let's go over to Impact Wrestling and talk about Rich Swann becoming the new #1 contender this week.
Love Rich Swann. I think he's a very nice guy. Very entertaining.
Yes.
I wasn't a fan of his first title run. I don't really want to see it again.
Well, I don't think he's going to have a title run. Anybody who right now, I don't care who you are in wrestling. And we don't talk about this enough. You know, I've made it very clear. I think the best wrestler alive today is Kenny Omega. He's the best. He is the best out there. I don't care. And people, we can talk about this another time. People talk about, well, his time in AEW isn't even, that's bullshit. And Kenny Omega is the best in the world. But God, dude, Josh Alexander is tearing some shit up, dude.
I don't put Josh Alexander as best in the world. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm not saying. I'm saying, but I think it's arguable that Josh
Kenny's
Alexander
probably
would be
3
up
or
there.
4 for me.
Kenny?
Yeah.
3 or 4?
Yeah.
No way. Who would you put above Kenny?
Anytime he's breathing and he's active, Daniel Bryan is the best wrestler in the world. He's not being used properly, but if he had to go out there and put a match on, he would 100% outshine Kenny Omega.
You think so?
100%.
Like I said, it's debatable.
I think Daniel's in-ring work and ring psychology is better than Kenny Omega's.
I think it's easily debatable. But
the only problem with Kenny is that Japanese style for me, where he's like Darby Allin, where you have to run him over with a tank for your finisher to count.
Yeah. Well, Japan's done that for a while, you know, and it was before.
And number 2 that I would put over Kenny Omega is Seth Rollins.
No way.
I'd put Seth over Kevin. I'd put Seth over Kenny Omega.
No way.
And then it would be a close second. It would be when I say either 3rd or 4th, I would probably put Kenny 3rd. But if you talk me out of it, I'd probably say Jay White would be there too.
Oh, good God, no.
It would be a 3-way tie between Jay White and Kenny.
Jay White is absolutely amazing, but I'm not putting him anywhere near Kenny. The only person I will accept in that argument is Daniel Bryan. Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, it's arguable. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and be like, wrestling's subjective. I'm not going to be like, oh, Kenny's the best no matter what. You know, of course I'm going to be like, yeah, of course it's the
debatable. Only reason I don't put Orton there is because everyone has to wrestle Orton style match, where everyone that we just listed here can work everyone's style of match.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Agreed.
You have to meet Orton at Orton, and Daniel Bryan's like, what style we working? Oh, I'm working a lucha guy. Cool. I'll meet you there. You know what I mean? Yep. I can make my stuff work with your stuff. Kenny I can make my stuff work with your stuff. Everybody else is very interchangeable. where Orton's kind of like, hey, this is what I'm doing.
Yep.
You're eating an RKO at some point. See you in the other ring. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah. At some point, like and when and I think it's just because Orton has become accustomed to that WWE style in that WWE locker room, to where Orton's like, no, you meet me in the middle of the ring. I don't meet you.
Well, that's the case. That's the pleasure of Randy Orton doing that, is he's never
Yep.
worked any other system but WWE.
Yep.
So everything's been handed to him in that level, where if you probably picked up Randy Orton and dropped him in New Japan, I think he would struggle.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's not taking away from anything away from Orton. I still think
There's actually
Orton's
some Randy Orton news.
fantastic.
He posted a picture at like an event or with kids or whatever, and he's flexing. And your boy is monstrous.
I bet.
For having a real bad back, your boy's been working out his biceps pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. I'll tell you what, man. Just to kind of circle back to Rich Swann and Josh Alexander.
Yes, let's go back to Impact. Sorry.
Yes. Josh Alexander is so fucking amazing.
He's good.
And I'm excited to see him and Rich Swann. I'm excited as somebody besides Bully Ray.
Yeah, but Bully Ray just interjected himself in the storyline that I actually cared about now. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Bully Ray put himself in with the Masha Slamovich. Well, here's one thing that I will say about the Bully Ray Masha thing. They came from the same school.
Yeah.
They both came from Johnny. They both so Bully Ray did do a little bit of WNYC or whatever other school that Tony worked with him at, but I not 9 times out of 10 when you ask Bully Ray where he came from, he says Johnny Rods.
Yeah. No, but I am all for I'm all for guys coming in and helping out younger talent. So if Bully Ray wants to help,
boob popped out during that spot too.
Yes. If you was it you I was watching who was I watching NXT with?
Me. I watched a little bit with you of NXT.
Yeah. We'll get to that because there was another wardrobe malfunction that happened on NXT that Gears of Kai pointed out, but we're going to get to that. Okay. Anyways, I don't mind the older guys coming in. I don't like Bully Ray. I'm not a fan of Bully Ray in any way, shape, or form. He never did it for me. He never did it for me in Impact. For his singles run, I was very happy for him. Like, that's cool, but there was just some guys I don't levitate to, and Bully Ray was one of them. And that's fine. That's my opinion. But I don't mind Bully Ray coming in if he's going to help out Masha Slamovich. If it's to help somebody out. Mm-hmm. But when you come in, Josh Alexander doesn't fucking need a Bully Ray.
And Masha Slamovich doesn't need a Bully Ray to be a better heel either.
She doesn't either. But if it's to help her, in any way, shape, or form, then I'm cool with that. Like I said, he wasn't helping Josh by coming in and running that program with Josh.
Mm-hmm.
He had no business in the title picture. He had no business in the main event.
They literally said, "Hey, we'll talk about I'm busted open." Yeah, and he said, "Sounds good to me."
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, I'm not a hater about it. I think that
that's probably what's going to happen, Stephen Chamber. This whole rivalry is going to lead to Aldis coming in and defending Mickie James, and it's going to be Aldis versus Bully Ray.
Yep. I agree.
Because Bully Ray wants the attention of a Nick Aldis match.
Yep. Alex says, "How do you feel about Sami Callihan joining in Violent by Design?"
I watched Impact this week's episode, and that stable doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's the first time I've seen them on TV. For me anyway, like I watched that 1 week, and then
they killed a guy.
They killed a guy already?
No, it was a couple months ago, but they straight killed him off.
Who?
It was somebody who was going back to WWE. I forgot who it was.
Murdered him?
Yeah, they did a segment where him and Cody. Oh, it was Eric Young. That's right.
Oh, they killed Eric Young.
Yeah. Cody was sitting across from Eric Young, and then like he stabbed him, or I don't
I love
I don't
that.
know.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love that Impact is willing to do that. They're like,
yeah.
didn't Mickey James get hit by a train? I think when Mickey James left the company, she got hit by a train.
I have no idea. That's great. Yeah, he stabbed Eric with a shank or something. Yeah, Alex knows, man. I I thought it was, hey, man, to each his own. I thought it was funny, and I was like, man, like if they knew that Eric was going back to the E, and they were like, all right, well, if you're going back to the E, we're killing you, dude. So
Yeah, but yeah. So that was a thing. Also, the opening match of the show. Holy Hannah,
yeah,
Ace and
and yeah,
that cutter to the apron from Chris
yes,
Bay.
was brutal. And then did you see Josh Gresham sent out a challenge to Speedball Mike Bailey?
I did not.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fun.
I thought let Josh get some let Jonathan get some matches in, and then eventually put the crash course to him and Alexander
Yeah.
for
Oh
the
yeah,
Impact title.
Gresham would be a way better competitor for Josh Alexander for the title than anybody else.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, and he's a absolute fit for that Impact World title.
Yep.
And then it looks like the Chris Bay and Ace Austin are working they're getting their wins up for the pay-per-view coming up, and it's in Chris Bay's hometown.
Yep.
Yeah, PCO Eddie Edwards. Dude, I'll watch anything PCO does. He's unbelievable.
Yep.
But yeah, Impact was fun. But let's get over to what happened this weekend with NXT.
Yeah. Did you want to skip that next one?
What was the
I
next
think
one? I'm
we I
sorry.
think we I think we already talked about it a little bit.
Jade.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Or
just
50.
said that Jade got her 50th win, and there's really we don't know where they're going with it next.
Absolutely. I was gonna the whole point I put that on there was because I was gonna give Mark shit because I feel like every other week Mark's like, who's gonna beat Jade? And I'm like, motherfucker, we've talked about this like 10 times, man. We can only hammer this nail
Yeah.
so many times, my guy.
Well, now it's like, okay, she got her 50th. What's the number now? Like, if it's not 50, what are we going for?
52.
You know what I mean?
I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
NXT.
NXT Vengeance Day, which I did a watch along on, and you came in and did a watch along with me. It was for one match, didn't you? Or did you say for two?
2.
Was it
I was there for
the
the
cage
tag
match?
match and Roxanne the women's match, and then I left for the main event.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, the tag match, Gears of Kai, pointed out that Mark, either Mark or Wolfgang's dick fell out of his pants.
What?
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, sort of. I didn't see it, but that's what Kai said. Kai was like, "Whoa,
Kai,
did you just see? Did you just see
we
that
need
wardrobe match?"
photographic proof of this.
Yeah, he goes, "Whoa, did you just see that?" And I was like, he's like, he was like, I think it was coffee.
Maybe I wasn't there for
Mark,
the tag match because that was said in the chat when I think I was only there for the women's match.
yeah, yeah.
I got
Steven Chambers said, Mark, yeah, it was Mark. It was Mark Coffee. Mark Coffee, his whole nuts came out supposedly. I have no idea. So,
I love that for him.
yeah. I wish I wish somebody would tweet that and then Mandy Rose would retweet it. That's what I wish.
Oh, and then he gets fired. Oh,
No,
I can't show my tits on a paid thing, but this guy can pull his wiener out.
yeah. It's a
I just tell you,
wardrobe malfunction.
I'm sure this will be a great Google search. Dick slip on
Mark,
NXT.
no, just put Mark Coffee. Mark Coffee. Dick slip. Oh, that's weird.
Oh, none of those are none of those Google
nothing.
searches.
Look, Gears says Mark went to adjust his trunks, went and lifted them, and the camera focused on Dick.
No, it didn't. If it's not if no one caught it, it's not gonna ever be shown. Gears, here's your homework assignment right now. Turn on your TV, put on the pay-per-view, go to that scene, and take a picture of it with your phone. I feel like I've seen enough penises with all of you that I think we're all at the point where we're completely broken from seeing
Yeah,
the
a
male
few of
genitalia.
a few of us. I'm sure there's
How's your co-host holding up? Is he all right?
he still hasn't said a fucking word to me about it.
Full disclosure, if you join my Discord and you see us all in the Omegle room, it does say 18 plus. And if you go in there, you're gonna see stuff. That's all there is to it. I can't control it.
Well, I'm about to do this. I'm about to do this live on stream.
But
This is what I love about having our own platform to where we can do whatever the fuck we want. Hey, so you never told me the other day about how you stumbled into ABJ's Discord and might have possibly maybe saw penis.
multiple.
Oh man. Watch your mouth, Anthony. Oh my lord.
Listen, this isn't a family friendly hug your gods and kiss your family show. This is we're adults here.
So we started off NXT Vengeance Day with Wes Lee and Dijak for the NXT North American Championship. Did you watch this match?
I went back and watched the whole pay-per-view. How about him dislocating his fucking finger?
Yeah.
Done that before.
Oh, that's disgusting. Speaking of my co-host, Josh's finger's permanently like that. No, well,
really?
it's like this.
I have one of my fingers that's like I have a little bump in this pinky. I dislocate super easy, and I used to always like jam my finger playing basketball. And the one time I jammed my pinky and my ring finger, I think, and my ring finger was facing this direction. So like this knuckle, from this knuckle over, my finger was out like that, and then my pinky popped down like a U, and then this knuckle popped to the left.
Yeah.
And I looked down, and so this finger is doing the wave with a 90-degree angle, and then this finger is doing a 90-degree angle. And I was just like, oh, I hope they're not broken and they're dislocated. And my buddy's like, are we done playing basketball? And I went, nope, check. He's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? No, I played another 6 games.
Josh had somebody spike a football and fucked his finger up. So now Matthew says Joshy glasses. That's what he calls them. He calls them Joshy glasses. So now when Joshy glasses goes to give me a high five, I'd be like, give me 4.5, bitch.
Give me 4.25. I worked with a guy who had his hand stuck in a machine at work. And when he got his hand stuck in the machine, it caught his pinky and his ring finger. And his middle finger was fine, but I guess like when the machine caught it, look at the screen. It like caught this part of his hand too. So there was ligament damage. So they took they essentially made the game plan call to take his middle finger and essentially take it off and use the middle finger as a support for his hand to go to his wrist. So there's a bone there and it's not just meat. So he has 2 fingers, but his middle finger is technically the support beam between his knuckle and the wrist.
That's weird.
And he was a ball buster and he would make fun of me all the time. Yeah. And he made a joke about my wife banging, because at the time I was living with friends and we had a whole bunch of roommates. And he's like, you're probably at work and your wife is banging all your roommates. I go, probably is. And they're like, oh yeah. I go, that is hilarious, man. Let me give you a round of applause. And he goes, Yo,
That's
what the fuck, bro? And then we had like, those like garbage pickers where there's like little things and you pick them up and you throw them in your bag. Well, we had those at work all the time. And that's how we would thread the machine. I would take the things and I'd clamp the material and I'd put it through the rollers and I would hand it down and somebody would grab it and put it to the rest. And I'd be like, "Yo, Chris, hand me the Chris." He's like, "The what?" And I'm like, "Hand me the Chris." He goes, "Why are you calling it the Chris?" I said, "Because it's got the little pinchers." And he's like, "You
you're a piece.
scumbag." Yeah, but he was a really cool guy. Like I wouldn't do it to him to make fun of him. Like if he didn't have a sense of humor and he wasn't
Yeah.
and he didn't
Like
ball bust as well.
like the other night when Crazy Eyes came in the stream and you were like, I wonder why they call him Crazy Eyes. I was like, oh, go look at his YouTube page or
He
his
had
Twitch
crazy
page.
eyes. Yeah, that was he nailed that name.
Oh man.
Crush that shit.
So Wesley got the win over Dijak. Very,
Yeah.
very good match. I was on the edge of my seat for this match at one point where there
Well,
was a
first
lot
off,
of
too, real quick, NXT, very nice crowd for their first show, leaving Florida and going to a different venue.
yes. Dude, I mean, like, granted, I don't know what the top of the what
Or
the
they sold
top
tickets
looked
dirt
like.
cheap, but it worked. The
Yeah.
camera shots looked like it was full from hard cam to the commentary side, full.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side, was it dead? Who knows? But from what they showed, it looked like a good crowd. And they were into it, which is important.
Jake the Tribal Chief just posted in the WWE section on my Discord that Naomi changed her name on her Twitter profile to Trinity, just Trinity.
Interesting. I'm glad that was posted in my Discord. Jesus, Jake.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play that jealousy that I don't.
Guys, speaking of the Discord, if you guys want to hang out with us outside of bad booking,
Go to
ABJ,
ABJ's. It's way more fun.
ABJ, yes, ABJ and I both have a Discord. ABJ, I don't know how many members you're sitting at right now.
Over 100 now.
Over 100, fantastic. We over at the CR Media Discord are sitting at 47 members.
He just posted on mine now too.
Yeah.
Listen, Jakey, we've been here the whole time. All right, man.
Yeah.
I'm first, then
If I find
maybe
out
Savage, and then CR Media. You know,
the fuck, I will. I'll do the rest of this fucking show alone.
I didn't
You
say
fucking let Savage get royalties.
He'll tag you in it.
Me?
He'll tag you in it. Yo, Mark, you're a savage by that. For the way that was crazy.
Yeah.
Mark went and commented, "Hey, no tag. Took content off our page and didn't even tag us."
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he definitely did. He definitely did it because I got tagged in it after it happened.
That's awesome.
Hey, listen, I'm not mad that he did it. He's taking pride in his content.
Yeah,
dude. Mark, real quick, like when it comes to this show, man, we work hard, right? We're here every week. We're trying to make this a thing. But dude, all the clips you see posted, that's all Mark. Mark is, you know what I mean? Like he's working his ass off. So if you see stuff outside of a Sunday, that's because Mark made it and gave it to us that we can post it.
Absolutely. Mark busts his ass on making those clips. I even remember.
So when someone takes content from us and doesn't give a tag, like I can see how he can take offense to that because he's trying to help us give content so we can build this show up to be something that it stands on its own. You know what I mean? So I can definitely see how he's upset that we had Polo Del Malar in here. And I mean, in all realisticness, and this is not hate, this is not shade, but like no other content creator, if it was the other way around, just put it out there. If it was the other way around, would he let one of us on his channel to interview somebody else on his show? And if we hijacked it the way that went down, and he essentially we gave him like 15 minutes, that I don't know if that would have been. I don't know if the same foot would have been put, if the same effort would have been put on the other side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
And we
I
took it. We accepted it. We said, go ahead and do your thing. And then for that to be clipped and not even any mention to bad booking. Thank you for bad booking for having me do this. Like none of that. And I was like, interesting. Once again, I didn't take offense to it. Um, I think there's a way to go about doing it. But it's I definitely see how Mark is upset by it.
oh yeah, absolutely. Um,
It's just courtesy as a content creator, you know?
yeah, I mean,
Not a big ask.
yeah, I think it's fair, especially when you don't follow when you don't even follow me. Then I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah, yeah, that's a thing too.
So the other thing that I want to talk about too, while we're on the subject, is Kiana James and Fallon Henley defeated Caden Carter and Katana Chance to become the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. But obviously not without some controversy. Uh, the One of the girls held down her partner's helped hold her partner down so she could get the 3 count. So I would imagine if yep, Steven Chambers says I'm guessing the rematch would be Tuesday night. Maybe we'll see. Who knows? But
Now here's the question. So this storyline, because like I said, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know everything at NXT. I'm still very new to it. I'm learning the product as I go, doing my live watch-alongs. But essentially, this is getting this storyline, if I'm not mistaken, is essentially to a point where it's uh they didn't like each other and now they came together to support each other for this for the guys she teams up with. They each team up with like each a member of a guy in another tag
yep.
team,
And those guys
and
are
now
upset because Carter and Chance ditched them at a on a date or something like that.
oh okay,
Yep.
like that storyline's
Those two guys.
a little too Degrassi for me, but
Yeah.
I do think that Country Chick is really talented and has a lot of potential. But how, do they keep them a tag team a while before everything goes crazy? You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, is that like something that the whole time like it's bound to happen, it's bound to happen, it's bound to happen, and they stretch it out for 6 months, and then every time you think that they're gonna turn, it never happens, and they're like, okay, and then they finally lure you into like they're a team, they love each other, and then all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Like, dun, 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 you know what
Yep.
I mean? Um, yeah, who knows?
I still thought the match was good. I mean, it wasn't, you know, I thought it was a good steam blow off after watching, Wesley and um Dijak go at it for a while.
Women's division in
Um
NXT, regardless if it's tag team or solo competition, man, it's they're very talented.
oh yeah, absolutely. Um the next match, I really loved the next match. Um really loved it. I know that some people were a little upset about it because it didn't go to all 3 falls. I thought it was still a great match regardless, and that was
I
Carmelo
like the
Hayes and
fact that it
Apollo.
didn't a little bit, because to
Ah,
me, it was kinda like you're
predictability.
anticipating 'cause every 2 out of 3 falls has to go a certain path in a certain way, and they're like, "Nope, we're gonna swerve you," and I was like, "I don't hate that."
Yeah. I do.
You know how I wanna book a 2 out of 3 falls match, and I'm sure it's already happened before, but, like, if I was booking a heel, right, and, they had, like, a extreme baby face that was doing a best out of 3 match, how I would book it is the first match, the first fall, the babyface wins. And then the heel, like, is trying everything and he can't get the win. He can't get the fall. He can't get the fall. He can't get the fall. And then all of a sudden he just goes out and gets a chair and or no, um sorry. Babyface doesn't get the first fall, the heel does. Babyface about to get the fall, he kicks out, rolls out of the ring, collects himself, gets some type of weapon, hits the babyface with it, gives him the fall, and then just takes the pin because he's knocked out from the weapon. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like I always thought that would be a fun way to book that because you don't see that very often.
Yeah, and I think if you did that on like a weekly show, I think that would be really good. I wouldn't do it at a premium live event or a pay-per-view or anything like that, but I would definitely do it on like a weekly show, have it main event, and then, you know, build the whole, oh, if we need to go extra time, we can go extra time. We have permission from the network,
Yeah.
but then they don't go extra time because
Like MJF. If
yeah,
MJF gets the first fall on Daniel Bryan and he just clocks him with something, gives Daniel Bryan the fall, and you're like, oh, it's 1-1. And then he just pins him because Daniel Bryan's clearly knocked out from the weapon and he takes the third fall.
yep, I
Because
agree.
there's not like a set time limit that you have to wait till you get the next fall. He's dead. He just knocked him out.
And I feel like this match was long enough that I didn't feel like I after when Carmelo won the second fall, and I was like, oh my god, like he just
Swept
finished
him.
this match in 2 falls. Like, I didn't feel like it was short. I didn't feel like I know Kai mentioned in the chat, he was like, I don't I don't see why they would bring Apollo Crews back into um I don't know why they would bring Apollo Crews back into NXT to challenge for the world title and stuff like that, and then make him do that. And he's like, that was a little weird to me. And like I do see it once I think about it, but like that was the problem is I completely forgot about it. The match was that good to me that I
Well, that
completely forgot that there wasn't a
well,
third fall.
that's exactly why you do it.
Yeah.
Apollo Crews is no joke. Um, and Apollo Crews probably also realizes too, or they realize that listen, we've had Apollo Crews here for a while. They're storyline wise, Apollo Crews is never going to be our WWE World Champion. He's never going to be probably anything higher than a mid Carter. Um, but instead of not using him at all, let's send him into NXT and let him give some love to a guy who probably really needs it. That could be the future of our company because Apollo Crews is really talented and can give that kid a great match. So you
Yeah.
send Apollo Crews down and you do exactly what you want him to do in that instance, and then Apollo Crews does exactly what he's supposed to. Just like Ziggler, Ziggler went down and gave Braun Breaker another stat at pat, a padded stat of just saying, hey, I fought Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. And that was the other thing too, which was kind of weird. Commander Aziz came out to provide help, and then Apollo still wasn't able to get a single fall.
Yeah,
Um, and
I do have one NXT complaint though.
what?
It seems like every time you expect the turn or you expect after a match for something crazy to happen, like you're like a 6-year-old's booking it, like every fucking WWE video game, like, well, it's the end of the show. We need someone to come out and do something crazy. Like NXT is just good for that. Like they're gonna scratch that itch if you're waiting for it. You know what I mean?
I love that.
Someone like every show, you're like, oh, right now would be a good time, a good moment. Like as a smart fan, you're like, oh, this would probably be a moment somebody would run down and do something, and
Yeah.
NXT is gonna deliver 100% every time.
Yeah.
Maybe a little excessive and a little too predictable, but like as soon as Aziz is in the ring, you're like, oh, bet you Aziz beats the shit out of Apollo Crews here. And it's just like,
Yeah.
guess what just happened?
Uh the next match, the New Day against Chase U, Pretty
Oh,
Deadly,
God, I
and
love Chase U.
Gallus for the NXT Tag Team Championships.
If you don't like Chase U, you don't like fun things in life, and I feel bad for you.
Yeah. Listen, I made it or I'm making a TikTok to um uh I'm making a TikTok. I've got it saved in the drafts is what I mean. Making fun of a certain content creator who I came across one of his YouTube videos, and he is yelling and screaming about NXT and how stupid and childish and Nickelodeon it is, and how it's an abomination and how it shouldn't be on TV and blah blah blah. And it's crazy because I'm like I'm watching I watch NXT, man, and I love it. I've never stopped watching NXT. I was just mad and upset that Vince and Bruce Pritchard decided to take what Hunter had built up in NXT and rip it apart. There is nothing wrong with NXT 2.0 and there's nothing wrong with NXT now. Um I just was mad at what they did to Hunter's version of
Yeah,
NXT prior.
Yeah.
You know, never stopped watching NXT. Always enjoy it. I think the talent on there are great athletes. You know who else was
I
a
I
great
s-
athlete and
I
not a great
stopped
wrestler?
I stopped watching it for a little bit, but like I remember when even when we were still doing Tornado Tag, I watched it because everyone fucking hated it every week, and I
Yeah,
felt like a lot of people were hating it because they were hearing secondhand information from everybody else of why they hated it. Because I used to ask like, "Well, did you watch it?" And they're like, "No, I wouldn't watch that stuff because someone told me how bad it was." And I was like, "Well, you're getting your opinion from
and that's
Jim Cornette or someone who wants to be then the next
well,
Jim Cornette." And it's like, well, develop your own opinion a little bit. Like, sure, if
yeah,
that's not your style of wrestling where you don't like the campiness and you don't like the character work and stuff like that, then that's fine. But don't turn around and say, like, did you watch AEW when Orange Cassidy did the fucking thing? It's like, so it's cool for that, but NXT is an abomination to professional wrestling. You're not consistent.
yeah, and that's the thing is like I'm an adult and I'm mature enough to admit like, hey, like yes, it sucked
I like
what
the
happened.
fact because all professional wrestling is everyone's like, I'm the tough guy and I take myself seriously and I'm here to legit pretend to you that I actually want to fight this guy. And NXT is just like, they're like, you know what this is, and we're gonna have
Yeah,
fun while doing it. Dude, Camp Leapfrog. I'm telling you guys, if you like fun, campy shit, man, most of the companies I work for embrace that shit. And it's
yeah,
so much fucking fun.
yeah, and like I said, I think when people actually watch NXT, even before Sean took over and it was NXT 2.0 and everything else, I think if people watched it and gave it an opportunity, I think they would like it. It it was just everybody had a sour taste in their mouth from what happened to Black and Gold that they refused to give 2.0 a shot, and that's stupid.
Yeah.
Like I guess it was their way of trying to say boycotting it or whatever, but hey,
Tell you what,
fine.
This NXT show gave some black and gold vibes. The way it was paced, the way the crowd is, the way they told stories.
Yeah, agreed. So you're getting the best of both worlds now. And hey, I get it. Some of those guys on there are not your indie darlings. They're not the Adam Coles. They're not the Roderick Strongs. They're not the Kyle O'Reillys. I get it. They're phenomenal athletes. Do you know who else was a fantastic athlete who worked out pretty fucking well in this business? Brock Lesnar.
Hmm.
Brock Lesnar didn't wrestle on the indie scene for 15 years before he finally made it big in WWE, and I think Brock Lesnar did pretty fucking good. Um, Randy Orton was another great athlete, former Marine, who didn't have a big, huge independent wrestling. Came up a little bit in developmental under OVW, not more than Batista or Brock Lesnar. Had a pretty fucking good career. I mean, there's guys in there. There's great athletes there. Gears of Kai mentioned the other night. He doesn't like those country guys. And I don't like those country guys either. I think their characters douchey, but they're two large, great athletes. I think they're great. The fucking Creed brothers, um, Gable Stevenson's brother. I always forget his name. He was with Diamond Mine.
Chase U.
Yeah, Chase U. I watched that dude. That dude is extremely talented. Andre Chase, and he wrestles in a sweater and in
And
slacks
you look at
and
him, you're
shoes.
like, that guy's not a professional wrestler. And he
Yeah,
can go.
yeah. Damon Kemp. That's who Gable Stevenson's brother is. Used to be a part of Diamond Mine. Just absolute stellar athlete.
Hmm.
The women talent. Regardless
Future.
of what all the regardless of what all the jokes are about Nikita Lyons, like she's still a fantastic talent. Like
You ever
she is,
watch her hit a heavy bag?
yeah,
She'd
she's
fuck you up.
nuts. Yeah, Tyler
Nikita
Tyler
Lyons could
Bate,
probably fight a kangaroo.
Axiom and Tyler Bate, Steven, I appreciate you mentioning people, but like Axiom and Tyler Bate are they were good. They were really good talent before joining NXT. Um, Tyler Bate was 19 years old when him and Pete Dunne had that match for the inaugural WWE United Kingdom Championship. You
Dude,
realize that?
honestly, if they don't figure out what to do with the Brawling Brutes, I'd send them down NXT. I'd tell New Day to go back up, and I'd send
I
fucking Pete. I'd send Pete and what's his name down.
No, no, no. I would get rid of Rich Holland. I like
I think
Ridge,
Rich
but
Holland's really worked. He's really proven himself since the Big
he
E
has.
injury. I
He has.
really do. Like you
And
could
I'm
tell that
not.
really bothered him, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
But let me say this.
First professional wrestler to win a Grammy tonight. Bad Bunny. Good for him.
Oh, there you go. I appreciate Leon the King TV letting us know that. But you know what? Dude, like, I think with Trent Seven leaving WWE, and if he doesn't come back, I would put Tyler Bate with the Brawling Brutes.
Okay.
Let Sheamus have a singles run. Let Ridge kind of find his place, kind of be coached up by Sheamus, and then let Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne do a tag team thing. I would love it. Jordan Devlin, Steven knows Jordan Devlin is money. Jordan Devlin's a fucking stud. Like,
Yeah.
but these are all guys that were wrestlers. Like, the whole point, the whole rant I went on is those guys, a lot of those guys that came into NXT 2.0 when Black and Gold closed their doors, and they closed that out.
A lot of UK talent.
Yeah. A lot of fantastic, like, athletic guys that didn't have big professional wrestling, backgrounds.
Yeah.
And so they're still sticking around and they're still making waves while also bringing in the Jordan Devlins, the Charlie Dempseys.
Charlie
Yeah.
Dempsey versus Drew Gulak. Woo! That was a heater.
Yeah. Speaking of heaters, Roxanne Perez versus Gigi Dolan and JC Jane in a triple threat match to retain the NXT Women's Championship.
They did a really good job of telling the story of those two having issues the whole match.
Yeah. I agree.
Done really well. What's her name's gear looked amazing. Not Gigi, the other one.
JC.
JC looked really good. I didn't notice until halfway through Gigi Dolan's bottoms were literally a corset turned into shorts, which I thought was a cool gear thing. Good match. They did really well. They told a good story, and it made sense that tiny little girl beat two talents by herself because she used wrestling psychology. Imagine that. She told a story.
That's wild, man.
It's a weird concept.
I don't get me wrong. I liked the main event.
Since we're shitting on content creators, who's complaining about NXT?
That one loud asshole from New York.
Oh, commentary guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, hold up. He said NXT's abomination because it's Nickelodeon.
Yeah. No, I'll give it to you. Give me 1 second.
Does he realize his tag team champions is a ringleader and a lion, and they jump through hula hoops during a match? Not hating on it. I fucking love main event. But you can't be the commentary guy of a company that has their world tag team champions who beat the Briscoes be the main event, and then you're trashing stuff on TV that's very similar to your tag team champions.
Here, let's do this.
You're gonna tell me House of Glory doesn't have weird? There's a luchador named Butter Mantequilla.
Do you think I can get away with it? It's a 40-second clip. Do you think I can get away with it?
Just play the audio.
Okay. That's what I'll do. I'll play the audio.
That's a weird take. It's a weird take.
I'll play it for you. Like I said, I clipped it because I planned on, because dude, he gets on my freaking nerves.
I'm gonna be honest, I never listened to a single piece of his content.
I didn't know he was a commentator, and then like when I listened to his commentary on House of Glory, he's a completely different person. So I know he's putting on a facade, but dude, it's just frustrating because, you and I. I
would love to work for House of Glory. So
yeah.
Listen, if you're listening, buddy, I'd love to do commentary with you, but I just don't understand your take. Is all I'm saying.
But like my thing is, like, you and I who are busting our ass and being genuine and authentic on camera, and then you got guys like him and other people, other content characters whose whole shtick is to yell and scream and shit on everything, and it's like, what? Okay.
That's because everyone sees it works for Cornette. Everybody wants to have that Cornette angle. where they want to be a guy who was once in the business who then shits on the business. That's like the popular thing. Oh man, wrestling in the 70s and 80s and 90s were way better than everything you have now. Because that's the insert fucking wrestling take that everyone thinks is popular. That's going to get people to like the content. Like if you watch professional wrestling now and think it's not good, I honestly don't know what to tell you. Like
Yeah.
the talent of wrestling today is like listen, back in the day they did a lot better in-ring psychology stuff, but like they have to pivot a lot too. Like you can't compare the 70s, 60s, and 80s of professional wrestling when 90-year-old ladies thought it was legit real in the ring. That's a different crowd reaction when people think it's a different style of entertainment. You know what I mean? They thought it was real fights. You know what I'm saying? You can't get a lot of those same reactions today with that mindset because no one believes it's real anymore. So you have to beat them with storylines. You have to beat them with false finishes. But some people do go overboard with it, you know? Anthony, he's going to be on in a minute. Okay. He could be in the chat. I don't know what to tell you.
My bad. I muted my mic.
That's all
All
right.
right, you ready?
Yeah.
NXT should not be on Tuesday night. NXT should not be on the USA Network. NXT should not be at 2 hours. NXT is a waste of TV time. Move that shit back to the WWE Network and give it its own identity. NBCU is not pleased with NXT. They're pleased with Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard destroying the entire operation. They're pleased with that and turning it into a fucking circus? Turning it into something that I'm more than likely to see on Nickelodeon or Kids Disney? Feels like a fucking game show when I'm watching it on Tuesday night. It don't even feel like a fucking wrestling show. Bright colors, cringe crowd, fucking terrible characters. Don't get me started. Show is an abomination. NXT should not be on Tuesday night. NXT should not be on the USA Network. NXT should not be at 2 hours. NXT is a waste of TV time.
That was his 40 seconds. So,
But here's the thing. Here's the problem. This is what blows my mind about wrestling content creators. Listen, we don't like certain things that happen on a show, and we're saying like, hey, the storylines right now are not our thing. But we're not going to amp ourselves up and amp up our audience to scream and be like, fuck this, should not exist. Like, that's not good for the business that we're trying to put over. You're essentially telling people in the business to not like professional wrestling. Like if that was if that's an outside person listening, why would you ever tune into a professional wrestling show if someone
And,
who's
like
in the business, gets paid in the business, works in the business,
yeah.
and he hates the business around him? And that's
Yeah.
what a lot of content creators are doing now is they want to be Cornette. They want to hate everything around them. It's like, bro, Cornette can do that because he's been in the game for fucking 50 years or 40 years, 30 years, and he's making money. You're a content creator trying to be in a business that you're shitting on. It just doesn't make sense to me.
No, and that's what's crazy. Like if I knew him from Hog and I started watching his content, I might be more privy to him.
Yeah.
But because I didn't know he did commentary for Hog. I didn't know he worked for Hog at all.
Yeah.
I just happened to
I
happened to stumble across him on clips on YouTube and stuff like that. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? This guy's got 3,000 people watching him every fucking show. He's got hundreds of thousands. That show that I just did was for subscribe or the chat stream was for main event people, MVPs or VIPs only. So only people that were subscribers could, in the chat. And like, there's hundreds of people in there and they're still donating money. And I'm, like I said, man, like, fine, I get it. Like, but I mean, like, this is me on my soapbox. Like, I watch guys like you, guys like me, guys like, Mark, who are genuine, and fucking do it for real. Graves, yeah. And, hey, Graves is doing real cool with his 600 subscribers. But like, like doing what I do and then doing what you do. And it's like him, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I get it, man.
Because he riles people up. People want that type of content. Like that's what's popular now is just people doing that stuff. And I don't know.
Being fake?
Yeah,
because
being fake works.
Yeah, because either he's super fake on that show or he's super fake on Hog. Because like I said, if I'd have known him from Hog before I knew him from that, I probably would be, like I said, I'd probably be a little more privy to it. But because that's all I know him from, now I'm just like, yo, you don't do it for me, guy.
Mhm.
And I don't
Well, the
agree
only
with
time I've
that.
ever heard of anything he's done is when I guess he bashed women's wrestling, and then a bunch of like actual legit
Yep.
women wrestlers went at him, and then
Yeah.
after they went at him, he got upset and
Yeah.
went on the soapbox saying he was being attacked. That's the first time I
Yeah.
ever heard of this guy. Listen, dude, you're getting tons of donations and hundreds of people are watching. Good for you. Good job. Did I watch this one channel had 400 people watching? A British dude talking wrestling, and his screen has the chat, like it's just there's a lot going on the screen. There's a lot of stuff happening, and the equipment. Like I don't know. I'm glad he's killing it, but it's just like it's just trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah. No,
I'm honestly like I'm gonna be completely honest, dude. I'm at the point now, and I know it may sound maybe it's not the right thing to say, but dude, when I say this, I'm not saying it. I'm not gonna not put work into my content or into my craft. I just don't care anymore, dude. I'm gonna be honest. We have 15, 12 people that come every week and support and go on our Discord and hang out with us and talk to us. Dude, if that's as big as I get, cool. I'm being honest.
I hear you, man.
I'd rather have 15, 20, 30 real ass people who I enjoy talking wrestling with, and I can debate in a chat or a Discord, and no one's gonna get upset or quit or walk away. Everyone has good moral compass. You know what I mean? Like I'll take that all day long. Because at the same time, then, dude, when you get big and you have 400, 500, 1,000 people in your chat at all times, it's just more drama.
Yeah. No,
It's a lot
I
of drama.
agree. I agree. Let's talk about this main event real quick before we we move on from NXT Vengeance. Braun Breaker defeated Grayson Waller to retain the NXT Championship. If not Grayson Waller, then who is it?
Well, at the very end of the show, someone came out and challenged.
That's right, because he wanted that. That's what the stipulation was for the match. Apollo Crews versus Carmelo Hayes, 2 out of 3 falls. Winner was the unanimous number 1 contender for the NXT Championship. And what a way to put your stake in the claim than by beating Apollo Crews in the first 2 falls.
Yeah.
So,
yep. And it's how someone says I'm not digging Braun Breaker. Well, that's the thing, man. Your show is so character driven and fun and lighthearted. Even though when there is spooky stuff, it's still fun. And then you have Braun, who is like a serious dude bro character. People are like, all right, man, can we get somebody a little flashier and have fun? You know what I mean? Like that's good for a different product,
Yeah. No, I hear you. So I think that I mean, when you talk about those 2 guys, Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker, I think of like serious guys altogether. So I don't think either one of them are going to be on NXT very much longer. I know Sean has said that he wants to keep Braun as long as he can, but I think Braun is on limited time. I could see Braun debuting on the main roster the night after WrestleMania, the Raw after WrestleMania. Carmelo Hayes, I could see also Carmelo Hayes coming up to the new roster. I mean, like I said,
I would be very, very cautious of who you're bringing up right now from NXT to the main roster, because I think they would. I think it would hurt. I think it would hurt their brand. I think too many people going up at one time, it would get the NXT. Oh, they don't use NXT properly. Stink. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Couple other things here before we jump out. Very WWE heavy show. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on in WWE right now. it's WrestleMania season. So I think that, you know, that's why there's so much. Plus, you know, kind of what we're going to talk about here. Supposedly Comcast has lost interest in buying WWE.
That's not good.
That's not good at all. CNBC's David Faber interviewed CEO Nick Khan on Friday, and when the subject of Comcast was brought up, Nick Khan claimed, quote, "I'm actually hearing probably not, and I hate to say it, although another name I do hear is Endeavor. The idea of bringing UFC and WWE together would be very robust." But also Nick Khan was asked by David about Vince McMahon's involvement in the company. And Nick Khan said that Vince McMahon would be open to stepping away from the company, quote, if it's the right deal. And that was according to Nick Khan.
Interesting.
So if Comcast doesn't buy it, who buys it then?
I hate to say it, but I think it's going overseas.
I do too. And if do you believe for a second what Nick Khan says? That Vince McMahon would step away if the right person bought it?
No. I'm going to be honest too. I'm not sure if I fully get behind
What you watching right now?
So I got an alert and I tried to close it and it popped up. I'm not even fully behind the fact that I think Comcast is out of the deal. I'm not sure if I buy into that yet either.
I'm not so sure either, but I mean, like,
if Comcast isn't interested, they're insane.
I think if I'm being a total pessimist here, like glass half empty type of person, I think Vince was so upset when he found out that people close to him betrayed him with this whole thing that like I know this sounds crazy, like, you know, I mean like this is real life. This isn't a WWE story, but man, fuck, like when you say it out loud, it sounds like a WWE story. And that was that I think Vince, when Vince realized that it was Stephanie and Hunter that sold him out to the Wall Street Journal, I think Vince got upset, and Vince is hell-bent on taking back control by any means necessary. And I think that's the whole point of making selling the company, making the company private again, so he can assign himself as anything he wants. And I think it's his way. I just can't in any world see a professional like Stephanie McMahon. She's been a phenomenal locker room leader, professional for the past 20 plus years in that company. And there is just no way that I see her abruptly leaving a job and leaving the family company if there wasn't something that she was highly upset about. And to me, that issue that she was highly upset about was getting Vince to go, and then Vince finding out it was them.
I think they know the stories. I think they know the culture. I think they know the dirt. And dude, I think it's Hugh Hefner level bad.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, I do.
And I think they all know it's there. And I think they see like, yo, like Hefner went down after he died. This person went down. This person went down. All these stories are coming up, and they all hung out in the same circle of friends and worked with each other, and they were business partners, and they were helping each other hand in hand. And I think they're like, man, like WWE can be at the forefront of a lot of really bad stories. And if we don't hide him,
yeah,
it is not going to be easy for us to fucking get through this possible situation where people are coming out and saying really, really, really bad things about our brand and our company. that we want to eventually give to our kids and make our kids have a good life and make money. Like everything we know as in whole can go away because of the past discretions of our father. And he's just like, nope, I'm staying.
Yeah.
I'm bulletproof. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no, I like I said, I think
all speculation on my part. But
oh
I'm
yeah,
just saying that's
it's speculation, but it's really hard to convince me otherwise that when Hunter was
But I mean,
Hunter was
there
not.
are legal documents out there right now saying there are possible sexual assault charges on Vince McMahon that are being held underwater, essentially.
Yeah, because a few of them are pretty horrific, is what I've read.
Yeah.
So now I haven't read the stories, but I've read that the accusations are pretty disturbing. And it's not just that. I just think that I think for the business point, I think that they sat down one night and they were like, okay, like what do we do? And then I think that obviously they knew some shit and they said, okay, we give this information to somebody to pass off to the Wall Street Journal to leak it. And that's how it gets done. And then they went to Vince, and then Vince got cornered by a bunch of people and said, yo, you have no other choice but to step down. And then when he found out, I think he found out who did it. I think he found out who gave the information to give to the person that gave it to the Wall Street Journal. And when he found out that essentially it was Paul Levesque or Stephanie McMahon, I think he said, okay, fine. I'll come back and I'll make sure that you two don't get the company at all. And that's what I think was. I think they sat in a boardroom and I think he said, I'm selling to this person, Saudi Arabia, and that's who we're going to do, because he wanted to get it done as fast as possible. And then I think that story got leaked out that they were literally paper and pen away from signing over to Saudi Arabia. And then somebody came back and said, do you see the media backlash if we sell to Saudi Arabia? Please rethink this. That's
at least listen to other offers first.
Yeah. That's what I think happened. Because it's crazy how the whole world turned upside down in one night. And then the next day they were like, oh, that report's false. Wait a second.
Those damn dirty dirt sheet reporters again.
Yeah.
They were getting it from somewhere.
Yeah. And he had it from a credible source.
Yeah, hate the dirt sheets all you want, but sometimes stuff's leaked out the dirt sheets for two reasons. One, to make the dirt sheets look not credible sometimes, or two, so they can find out who the mole is.
I said this to somebody the other day.
They tell 3 stories of 3 people, and they see which one hits the dirt sheets.
I told this story to somebody the other day, and I know you and I have talked about it before. I don't care what you think about Dave Meltzer. I don't like him nor dislike him. I don't care. Like he doesn't bug me. Whatever. But Dave's done what he's done for the past 35 years, and he's made a pretty good living off of it.
Yep.
And you could say,
and made a lot of friends in the business.
You could say that maybe Dave Meltzer has been wrong about maybe 10 to 15 stories. If you put out 10 or 15 stories that weren't accurate in a 35-year career, I think you're doing pretty fucking well for yourself. So,
Agreed.
But that's going to do it for the show, my guy. Let's do our bad bookings of the week, and then let's promote some stuff, and let's get the fuck out of here.
All right. Bad booking of the week. You go first. I need a time. I need a little second.
Darby.
I think the idea of the booking is bad, but I can get behind Joe winning.
I don't like.
I'm gonna say I'm still not a fan of the Britt Baker babyface push they're doing right now.
That was my second choice.
I think the Britt Baker forced babyface with the Saraya and Toni Storm forced heel in a week span just seems forced and not natural. And the whole cutting on the TV to showing Britt Baker while Jamie Hayter is trying to set up a match for her title. That's my bad booking.
Yep, I agree, and To me, it's like what this storyline says is if this storyline is telling me that somebody is back there pulling the strings. And that's kind of like what I've been hinting at every week, where I've been like, they went to one town and where Britt was more over than Saraya. And then it seems like Britt went back there and said, oh my God, you know what we should do? We should turn me and Jamie face and turn Saraya and Tony heel. And I think that would work out really well. That's what it seems like to me. They went to one town in Los Angeles where Britt was more over than Saraya, and they just it feels like Britt went back there. Yeah, Britt went back there and said, "Oh, I'm gonna play my my creative control card."
Yeah,
and so, current ventures you got going on, my guy?
bro, I'm booked every Saturday now from now to the end of the month. If you're local or you're in the Pennsylvania, Jersey area, New York area, I'll be at the Night of Steel benefit show for Dina Steele and Philly Mike on Saturday, February 11th, in the Falcon's Nest, 403 Hudson Street, Mayfield, Pennsylvania. Doors at 6, bell time 7:30. Front row is completely sold out, but general admission still going strong at $20. The next weekend after that is sold out event. One after that is down in Rio Grande, Jersey. And then Smash Master and High Tension shows coming up in March, but that's not till next month. But hey, if you guys can do me a favor and not only subscribe to me on YouTube, scroll down and look and see all my friends to follow. You're going to see a bunch of accounts, people I like, and wrestling companies I've worked for. Go subscribe to all of them. Show them some love. Everybody in there deserves your attention. They're people I think work really, really hard. You should show them love. So go show them support.
Absolutely. And ABJ, if any of the promotion,
spam my Facebook page, comment as many times as you want on my Facebook. Just don't get yourself banned, and share the shit out of everything. Everything you see. If you see a reel, share it. If you see a live, share it. Comment, like it, heart it, hate it. Do whatever you got to do. Get it engagements. You're giving me free money. Cost you nothing to do.
Absolutely. So, and then ABJ, also a huge favor I want to ask from you. Whenever you're working for a company, and if they are live streaming, post it in your Discord. And tag
the only
everybody.
one I work that live streams is Sanctuary. And
Okay.
And we do. Yeah. Sanctuary's coming back in March, so that's exciting.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I just, like I said, on nights when I ain't got anything to do, or nights when I'm just watching some bullshit and I'm just working on editing and stuff, man, there ain't nothing I'd love more to do than to put IWTV on my 75-inch TV and listen.
Go back and watch some Camp Leapfrog stuff. I'm telling you, I think you'll like it.
Oh, I've watched a couple things of theirs. I will go back and watch it.
Yeah.
So
I just worked on Creep Frog today. That's the second Camp Leapfrog show.
So guys, what I've got going on is obviously the I-70 hot tag. It takes up 2 nights of my week. Monday night we do the pit stop, where we talk a little bit of news, and then we watch matches of our guests upcoming on Thursday. So kind of give you an opportunity to kind of get to know a little bit more about them before we sit down and interview with them on Thursday. And then Wednesday night, I've got the AEW Dynamite post show. I really love our AEW Dynamite post show, guys, because, unlike a lot of other content creators who do post shows, we share the link out for you guys to come on, tell us what you like, tell us what you didn't like. It's done pretty fucking well for me. I've met Mark that way. I've met Scott that way. I've met ABJ that way. So 3 of my really good friends that we do this content creation with, I've met that way. And then we also met Matthew Holland that way. So, can't go wrong with it. So if you like watching AEW Dynamite, if you don't like watching AEW Dynamite, come join with us, talk about it, the show. And then, of course, on Thursday night on the hot tag. And then Sunday night, Bad Booking. Me, ABJ, Marcos, Pro Wrestling Kingpin. 3 opinionated individuals talking about professional wrestling and what we like and what we don't like. So
the only thing we need, the only time I'd ever want to bring in somebody else or Bad Booking in, if it's not Raz, we need to find a really good content creator who likes the independent wrestling scene and the wrestling scene from the West Coast. We need like a Cali person, because we literally have like East Coast, mid, like that, another like mid thing, and then we just need a complete like West Coast person.
That's what we need to do. We need to find somebody We need to find somebody on the West Coast and bring
Yeah.
them in. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you guys joining us.
Also,
tonight.
I go live for the most part. I can't promise Friday nights, but every Monday, every Tuesday, and every Wednesday, I'll be live doing live watch alongs of Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and AEW. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Raw, NXT, AEW Dynamite, and then maybe on Fridays, we can we'll have some more people. But the live streams have been doing pretty fun. A lot of people joining it, a lot of people hanging out, and while we watch Raw and NXT and Dynamite. So come hang out. Chase joins us sometimes. Mark has joined us sometimes. And Raz has joined us a couple times. Scotty. So it's a lot of fun. Come hang out.
Absolutely. Anything else? Anything else tonight, sir?
Out of here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for myself, Chase CR Media, for my co-host who's very sleepy,
I'm tired. Yeah.
Anthony Blackwell Jr. As always, good fight and good night. I won't stop till I wear the ground.